Therefore, we will get started to what happened last time. In the world of the Dimwood, which is an ancient forest that is being warred over by the Erie dynasties and the Marquisate, our vagabonds are trying to find their own fortune. The session began on the river in the boat of Benny Frankles, the frog that had agreed to ferry them up the river. They encountered around the bend Jericho, the owl spy master who had defected from the Erie, and he was being pursued by assassins. As the party got him to get in the boat, and then docked the boat, went into the forest, and they took him to the boughs of a weeping willow, where Grumley managed to kill one of the assassins, and Booker taunted them all onto a nice little line, where they heard a loud buzzing, and suddenly, out of nowhere, the giant dragonfly that they had patched up the previous session emerged and devoured a great number of these assassins, scaring off the rest of them, and then saving the day, they agreed to drop him off at Click Clock Crossing, where the party then went. Hazel stole some pie, and they continued on their way to Rye Barrel Falls. After learning, however, of an old contact that Jericho had named Beata, a raven, and who hung out at the Cotton Top Inn, and they made their way north, and they discovered that Rye Barrel Falls is a bit of a logging operation, predominant wood harvesting capital of the Marquisate, and they parted ways with Benny, who said he was going to go get a job playing piano over at the Belgian Barrel, the bar with a wide variety of rye selections. They then went to this inn and encountered Beata, who is seemingly passing off some sort of information to a sneaky rat-like character who was a rat, and who was literally a rat. And after discussing, after sitting down and convincing her to be frank with them, talking about the ruins and the amulets, she was very surprised that anyone knew about this. She took them, blindfolded them, took them up the massive waterfall to a mansion in the cavern behind the waterfall, where they met the Grand Master Zacharias of the Rookroos Order of the Corvid Conspiracy, who they are tasked with maintaining the power balance in the Dimwood, and making sure that neither the Erie nor the Marquisate are ever swing too hard in the other direction, or any faction rises to too much prominence. And so they agreed to basically retrieve this, and able to convince Zacharias to help them, because if Jericho knew about where all of the ruins were, then that probably meant that someone in the Erie did too. And so that would be very bad news for them to get a number of any of the artifacts. So he once again blindfolded the party, guided them to the top of the waterfall, to a strange thicket, incredibly dense, where it was almost a forest maze, and where the trees had faces and would move every time they weren't looking, and they could feel the trees watching them. And they encountered strange nodding patterns, and with the power of the amulet and singing of "Oh Facey Tree," the legendary song, they arrived at a center court, a former throne room, where a great crown was entombed, and with some next level rock paper scissors, Booker convinced Hazel to go grab it, which she did, and then once the crown was removed across the threshold, the entire thicket rumbled and got sucked back into the earth. So, you all are standing in the center of this ruined throne room. All of the trees that had been previously surrounding you, enveloping you, are now gone. You're standing in a forest clearing. Simply just patches of dirt and grass all around you. And you can see far out, stretching hundreds of feet, patches of stone and ruin, as you see the open sky of the night sky, as you hear the roaring, misting falls off in the distance. What do you do?
We thank the Blueberry Bear for the follow.
Welcome. I did not hear that. I apologize. So we're still in the woods. You're in a large clearing.
Okay.
And so you are in the ruins of this throne room. There's a large knotted wooden throne where this blazing heart, this great deer king, allegedly had held court. And the oaken pedestal that had held this crown has also been pulled back into the earth as you hold the crown in front of you.
And the trees receded.
Yes, they all shot back into the ground after moving, and nothing seems to be watching you at this point.
Who's holding the crown?
Oh, I've got it right here.
Does it do anything?
It's pretty heavy, but I don't know.
Does it do anything? Can I, does it...
It's large, though, right?
It's large. It's yay big. So...
Can you wear it?
I don't think so. It's a little big for my head.
Well, I'll try to put it on then.
Well, I didn't say you could have
Since
it.
I already have the amulet, I suppose it only makes sense.
Well, it only makes sense that I should have the crown since you have the amulet.
Oh,
What's
no.
fair?
I think if you want to give Brumley the crown, so when the Eerie swoops down and kills him, they'll just take all of the artifacts, that would be great.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out what it does. We know that this thing is warm.
Well, you hold out your amulet and I'll hold out my crown. We'll touch them together like that.
We're touching artifacts.
Peggy, we are truly in the presence of geniuses.
Is it?
No,
Clink, clink.
no, we're not.
Doesn't
Clink,
feel like
clink.
it's doing anything.
As the amulet, it's still warm to the touch, is kind of clinking against this. And you hear, as it taps up against the crown, it's still glowing with that strange orange glow that the amulet does. You kind of hear almost like the creaking of tree and bark and branch in this crown every time you touch it to the blazing heart.
You know, they're probably going to break both of those.
Yeah, even with our luck.
Well, it seems like we did what they asked us
You know,
to do.
speaking of that, why did you let the two of them take the powerful artifacts that we found?
Well, to be fair, Hazel very, very graciously offered to grab the crown, as the rest of us didn't want to. She didn't want to put the rest of us in harm's way, is the way I remember it.
Are you sure she didn't think that there was some kind of fruit or something?
No. No, it took a little discussion, and then she saw the light, and
You forced her to do it, didn't you?
Well, I tricked her.
I wasn't paying any attention. I was working on this. I've been trying to make a venom sack out of this fish bladder I found.
Woof.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to work.
Sack?
You know, you fill it with venom and you squirt people in the face with it, and then maybe they die, but hopefully they're just paralyzed. It's not going to work, though. I popped holes in it.
Oh no, that sounds terrible.
Yeah.
Keep at it.
Well, we should get back. What's his name?
Zacharias.
Zacharias he said he would come back in a few hours, and I feel like it's approaching that time. He may think we're dead if we don't go meet him back.
Yeah, all right. We'll shake a leg and get down there.
All right, let's go.
Okay.
And I turn and I'll...
You,
Stop
with
over.
the crown in tow, you make your way back through you arrive at the tree line again, leaving this clearing behind. As you see bits and pieces of stone, and there seems to be an intricate artistic work carved into this. And you see once again the figure of the armored stag with a flaming sword holding the banner with the crown on its head. Oh, thank you, Ford Gray.
Did you know that we love you back?
Aw,
That's so nice.
And
Thank you.
see that you're sort of seeing an image, a story playing out. And you remember that there was a large mural of the temple. Oh, thank you, Vakega.
Thank you, Fakega Murgle.
9 months, wow.
All the Murgles.
There is no better Fakega than you are, Murgle.
Murgles.
That's all I've
know,
got.
it's a Warcraft 3 type enemy that they got rid of in World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Anyway. And
That was good. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's really
Thank you.
good.
You can tell Andy and I have died in Classic many times.
So, you start to see as a story unfolds, as bits and pieces, as you're making your way through, it's not difficult to make out that as this king arrived, and you see that there's a variety of deer, does, and stags with him. And they are wearing hoods. Some are wearing armor with large weapons, and the trees are all encroaching in. And then eventually you see a crown rise up and a great throne made of the forest itself, as the trees then all snap from being gnarled and twisted to being straight upwards, and the Blazing Heart seemingly becoming the king of the forest.
Where do we see this story?
Kind of in the stones and the ruins,
stone,
built in
okay.
like carved in the bas relief sort of business. And you continue to the tree line, pass through the wood, and as you make your way to the other side, the mist of the waterfall hitting your face, you see a shape pass over the moon. You see a single black feather fall down, as with the flapping of wings, you see the robed raven, Zacharias, the Grand Master of the Rookroos Order, flap down as he lands. And as he looks at all of you, he looks at you, Hazel, holding the crown. And there is a look of genuine surprise. You all survived.
Well, yeah, I was standing right here.
Oh, that's right. We're right here. We're all fine. And we found it.
I don't really, it wasn't all that hard. It was a little confusing.
Did you not fight the forest itself?
Why would we?
No, there wasn't anything. They were just a bunch of little tree guys with faces, but they didn't move. They didn't attack us.
How did you get through?
Oh, we asked politely, of course.
He looks...
We showed him the amulet last time, right?
Yeah.
And we used it. So.
He looks and he just looks and just blinks and shakes his head. Well, I suppose that is what happens when you bring vagabonds into the mix. Well, you'll all consent to being blindfolded as I take you back to the manor.
I don't understand why people keep saying this. Vagabonds this, vagabonds that.
You know what they say, vagabonds, they get the job done.
Is that what they say?
Yeah.
I think I've heard that.
For as much information as I have gathered in all of my years, I have never heard that, but perhaps it is the common folk that are rising up down south that are starting those rumors.
I don't really want to be blindfolded again. Haven't we just, proven that we're pretty trustworthy at this point?
Well, you've proven that you can get a relic from a ruin. You haven't proven that you will not divulge the location of our order hall to any other soul, under penalty of death.
Well, could we just, pinky promise?
Nah, I'll take a blindfold, thanks.
I suppose you have a good point. I will blindfold
It's just an
myself.
awful long walk, but alright.
He hands you a blindfold. And he hands you a blindfold as well, Peggy.
I'm going to try to discreetly cut small slits in it so I can see through the blindfold.
Attempt roguish feats roll, please.
Where's the roguish feats thing? Basic moves.
Finesse.
Oh, finesse, you say? 10.
Oh,
10.
shit.
Thank you for the
thank you,
free
Noodle.
sub.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Noodle.
Happy
Thank you.
September.
Happy September.
Noodle.
Do the noodle dance. Dun, 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 dun.
You are able to snip out a few, and I guess you could choose one of these businesses.
I think no clear path of escape, because we're...
Yeah,
That's
Did
reasonable.
we decide that you do that?
No, it's for one of the
That's
other
something
ones.
else.
This
Oh,
one
okay.
says you may choose.
But I could just use up resources.
Yeah,
Or if you
you
want to
could.
do that. Whatever you want to do.
you use the wrong type of scissors and it dulls the blade a little bit.
Yeah.
And you use a bit of decay. You the paper scissors for the cloth.
You tried to use my scissors for what?
I was doing them when I was putting the cloth on. I didn't know it was a gram.
Don't eat the good mozzarella. It's for the party.
Okay, so you're all blindfolded, including Peggy, who the blindfold wrapped around her little eye bulby things, and you see that it's basically she looks like a Ninja Turtle.
So now she's done. You can tell her.
Literally. Wait, what color are the blindfolds?
There are multiple colors. They're red,
No,
purple,
I have to be
orange, and blue.
Rafaela.
I love that.
Oh,
She's
I hope
the
I got
red one.
So you're the red one.
Match my outfit.
Sorry, Grumly.
So you are all guided back, and Peggy, you are able to see. Zacharias does not seem to notice, just because you had so graciously consented to all of the previous blindfolding, that he wasn't even looking at you as he just hands it to you rather than doing it himself. And you took your opportunity to snip some holes, and you see that as you're being guided through, that there is a very deliberate passage by the river that feeds, the Old Tom's River that feeds into the Great Rye Barrel Falls, that is marked by a very discreet, but definitely noticeable when you're looking for it, talent. As you make your way through down winding path back and forth, the mist drenching your fur. Peggy, this is incredibly refreshing as a frog for you as you make your way down through the winding tunnels, and you notice that there's a number of different passageways that you could go, and Peggy, you make a note of every single direction that you're going through. Eventually you arrive at your party members have not seen this, but you now see that there is a large 4-story mansion built into a cavern behind the waterfall, and you see the sheet of water roaring in front of you, and you see that there's a number of hooded ravens and crows standing on various perches, looking all around, walking along several balconies outside as you're guided up through the mansion. And once you are led into that same familiar meeting room, the door closes, and your blindfolds are all removed. And once he takes them, he puts them back into his coat and his robes, and he looks and says, "Well, now, what do you plan on doing now that you have retrieved the Rye Barrel Falls artifact?"
Well, I mean, our mission is no secret to you, I suppose.
I think some dinner's in order.
And we're going to continue to the next one.
Yeah, I appreciate your thought about the immediate, but I was thinking more long term. I mean, we're headed on to the next one.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Do you need to be fed?
I mean, we're certainly not going to decline it.
I think, yes, I'm pretty hungry.
If you have dinner available, I mean, we won't say no.
If you don't mind.
If you wouldn't, please.
I mean, it's only polite. Let's be realistic here.
Make a persuade an NPC roll. Anyone, whoever would like to.
What does he use?
Hazel.
Yeah, his
What is persuade?
Charm.
I'm too hungry to be charming.
I
How
got
close are
5.
you? Oh, dear Lord.
No.
Well,
Starve you.
Zakari, it's been a pleasure. Just kick us out over the waterfall. Put us in a barrel and push us right on over.
That can be arranged if you desire it.
That was just a bad joke.
I don't know if you heard, but Wartwallow has been taken by the Eerie.
Yeah, we did hear that.
We did, but we can't do anything about it. Are you guys going to do something about it?
Well, Beata told me while you were in your ruin, she filled me in that you had encountered her meeting with one of our informants in the Marquisate.
Oh, Rat Cream, yes. We did see him.
I don't believe that was his name.
Brumley, are you feeling well?
Wasn't that his name?
I don't know who you're talking about.
Old Rat Cream. Their informant. Or was it Skinks? Skanks?
I'm sorry, sir. I'm very, very confused. I'll be the first one to say I have no idea whom you speak of.
The rats that Beata was talking to.
Oh, I don't know if we ever caught his name.
I thought we did.
I can't remember.
What was his name?
I'll let Beata tell you that if the time comes.
We don't want to presume.
The attack on Wartwallow was made possible by a large investment with the Riverfolk Company. their mercenaries and their riverboats were enough to overwhelm the forces of the Marquisate.
So the Erie just bought them, just like that.
Yes, and that was not what the Marquisate was counting on. However, there are workings of the Marquisate to potentially make an even greater investment. But the situation in Muckbed Creek is quite tricky. Their eerie presence is incredibly tense. However, after splitting their forces among two clearings, the opportunity may present itself to meet with the Riverfolk Company. That is what Beata was meeting with the Rat for. I believe you are headed south, if I understand the location of the relics correctly.
I believe both are south if I consult my map right here.
Now, maybe not.
Everything's south from here.
Maybe not initially, but yeah, we're gonna make a little loop around. I thought was the plan. I'm open to suggestion. But...
Well, I think the next two clearings are Muckbed Creek and Drakesmith. Is that correct?
He looks at you. Well, it seems as if the fool Jericho knew more than he let on. But yes, that is correct.
So we hadn't discussed that with them before.
No.
Well, I hope it wasn't a bad thing. We just told him that. You probably knew that already, right?
This is why I try to stay out of things that are far bigger than any of us.
But yes, we are heading south. Why do you ask? Would you like us to do something?
Well, if you manage to get in touch with the Riverfolk Company, perhaps you can help turn the tide in the south, regain power from the Erie dynasties. But that would be up to you as wayward vagabonds.
Well, look, listen. I'm not exactly sure what the right answer is here, but you know, if I had a map that clearly marked each clearing's owner, I would almost say that the clearing that was just lost. I mean, who's to say whose clearing that really is? I mean, who's been there the longest? Who had it first? Who really cares who has it? It's no fur off my tail.
You know, the great thing about that place is that I live on a swamp and neither cats nor birds want to go anywhere near the water, so it doesn't really matter to me.
Well, that is your prerogative.
Even if we wanted to change the tide, it takes an awful lot of coin to make anything happen.
I bet those otters are just swimming in gold.
Is there a way that we could take back a clearing or two for the Marquisate? Is that what you're saying?
Well, if you make the right connections, you can... I don't know what relationship you have with the Marquisate.
A very good one, I must say.
Certainly better than the birds.
That's
If you
right.
can connect with the right members of the Riverfolk Company, you may be able to disrupt their chain. If you take Muckbed Creek, taking back Waterwaller will be quite easy.
Maybe I should be a little more direct, I guess, in my speech. How is it that you determine that the Marquisate just deserves this clearing?
Because the power has swung too far in the other direction.
But how do you know? I'm just a vagabond. I don't know anything.
That is true.
Enlighten me.
You sometimes don't know less than anything.
Okay, Peggy, now's not the time.
Well, I thought we were trying to be completely honest with this guy.
Fine, I don't know anything. Please, enlighten me.
Less than anything.
There...
That means he knows negative things.
Our order has been around for generations.
She's trying to say he consumes knowledge and destroys it.
Well, no, I'm trying to
That
say he's
is
a big
quite-
old liar.
that-
Anything he says is probably inaccurate.
Grumbly.
Grumbly? Who's Grumbly?
I said grumbly.
No, I'm pretty sure there was a B in there. See, I'm telling you, he knows less than anything.
Grumbly.
He doesn't even know how to pronounce his friend's name.
You wounded me. That was even low for you.
You're not even hurt. You're so dumb.
I was
Anyway,
just
you were
trying to clear
saying.
up this misunderstanding of what Peggy was saying is all.
How could you?
How could I just try
Guys,
to
I
make
really
a
don't
point?
like it when you're fight.
Oh, Fighting. What?
Here's a cracker.
Oh,
See, now she doesn't care. Continue.
Just shove the whole thing into my cheek and
Mr. Sicarius, I apologize. I did not mean to interrupt you to scold Grubbly. What? What was that?
To be honest, I had forgotten all of your names in the first place.
that's not very nice.
The Order has been around for generations, watching, gaining information, spreading it when appropriate. And we have seen when the power swings too much in one direction. It is controlling both clearings on either side of the lake is a very, very ideal trade position. It will not be long until they march upon Click-Clock Crossing.
So we're just supposed to trust you and your experience of watching these things unfold.
Well,
As you work in the shadows and move and dictate and attempt to sway things.
you can trust whomever you like to. You make your own way. Thank you, Phenom.
Thank you,
underscore
Phenom.
Thank you.
TV.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
phenomenon.
Phenomenal. Welcome to our family.
You are welcome to trust whomever you like.
It was different on the anyway.
But you make your own path. You are vagabonds. However, you have 2 of the Blazing Hearts artifacts. It will not be long until the Eerie knows the location of the other 2.
How would they find out?
If Jericho knew, do you think that there were not stopgaps? Do you think, from what you knew, from what you understood when you met that old owl, do you think he was 100% airtight?
Well, he seemed somewhat capable.
No, he didn't seem airtight at all. He had the worst gas.
That's true. He's rather old.
And he let his daughter fall victim to the machinations at Erie.
And he keeps telling the same old story about burdens.
I swear if I hear Burden one more
I
time.
know, it's just he's over and over again. It's like he doesn't even remember that he said it, and he says it again 3 minutes later.
Maybe we should stop disrespecting the man behind his back.
I don't even know what the word machination means. Peggy just says it all the time.
I don't think I've ever said that word before.
Well, you say it in your sleep then.
Um,
Somebody said it, because I don't know what it means.
Probably while you're watching Peggy sleep.
I watch everybody sleep.
That's kind of weird.
Why is that
You
weird?
sleep.
I can't sleep for like 8 hours straight. I gotta get up for a little bit and I'll walk around. I'm not sniffing.
Have you ever tried to sleep when Grumley's sleeping? He sleeps with his mouth open and he snores
That's
like
right.
crazy.
And then I go back to sleep and then I get back up. I'm gonna get some water if it's there. And then I walk around a little bit. You've never seen me do this? We've been traveling for like 9 months or a year.
I guess if you're doing it when we're asleep, I don't see how we would have seen it, couldn't we?
Anyways,
Well, it's getting awfully late. I assume you're letting us stay here.
what's the best way south?
You can go whatever way you choose. If you wish to go by the river, the Eerie might be watching that.
I was really hoping to get a look at New Felicia.
I haven't
We're
been.
all the way up here.
You could potentially meet at... Go down the river south. It is not far to Click-Clock Crossing. Perhaps meet with your close Marquisate contacts there. And then figure out a plan on how to get to Muckbed Creek.
That sounds like a good idea. We haven't.
Well, I think that makes the most sense, and if we want to talk to the otters, then obviously we should stick to the rivers, but I'd really like to see New Felicia. I've never been this far north. This is the closest I've ever been.
I agree, and I would like to go home for just a little bit, but I don't know how much time we have. Do we want to go that far out of the way? It's quite a bit of ways away.
Well,
That's true.
I'm not really in any kind of a hurry, so whatever the group decides, I will follow along, lest I be snatched up by the Eerie and instantly murdered.
That's my feelings as well. I think that we should go south, Because, like the Scar's saying, they might find one of the relics and then we'd be in a bit of a pickle. But I also don't want to see them bears because they're looking for me and I don't want to see them.
Fair enough.
All right, well, it's late. We should probably...
So we'll just retire to whatever bedrooms you have for us then, right?
And then,
Bedrooms? No, I was going to take you back down the waterfall.
Oh, but that's really far, and we're here right now at this moment.
Yeah, and that's a long walk for you.
And it's
whoever.
awfully late.
I don't sleep very much.
Well, I'll do
Maybe
enough
you
sleeping for the
probably
both of us.
Yeah, you
Persuade
probably
me
can
to
just
sleep roll, please.
get some water and walk around with it.
That's gonna be a 10.
A 10. He thinks a moment, kind of ruffles his feathers. I suppose you have done a great justice to the order
Yep.
and to the conspiracy, and have kept a great weapon out of the hands, the wings and the talons of the Eerie.
For now.
For now. I suppose one evening would be acceptable.
Excellent. I'm glad you saw it our way.
I will take you to your rooms now.
Great.
And he opens the door, and you see a grand hallway with a large staircase that goes up on either direction to a walkway down these long, elegant hallways. And he goes. You see that there is a row of rooms that seem to be have a lot smaller doors than a lot of the others, with very heavy padlocks on them. And he takes you to one of these and says, "Would you like one room or two?"
2 if you're offering. That'll be 2.
Pulls out a key, unlocks it, and he says, "Well, I will send someone to fetch you in the morning and take you back down, but you will not see me again."
Will they have tea?
Who?
Well, whoever's fetching us in the morning. I mean,
Oh
it's
no,
only
you
if-
gotta stop saying fetch around Grumly. You know how he starts to act.
It's only appropriate. I mean, we're guests in your home. It's just common courtesy.
You hear my tail slapping against the armor. My tail starts going.
They will have tea, yes.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad that you offered it.
Good night.
Good night.
Vagabonds.
Do you want to go downstairs?
Are we going to play fetch?
No, Grumly. I was just asking. I thought you could get me a water.
Are we upstairs?
You're upstairs. You're in your room. You can congregate however. You can go back and forth. There's actually a connecting door in between the two rooms. There's a pitcher of water. There's a pitcher of water in each one. There's quite plush. They seem to be a bit nesty, as if they're more intended for birds, corvids particularly. But
We
it's
can make this work.
Yeah.
I like this. It's pretty comfortable.
We've gotten pretty lucky with accommodations the past few nights.
Lucky.
How nice are the bed sheets and stuff? Do they have bed sheets?
Yeah, they have bed sheets. You know, they're a little bit nesty. There are all of these nice dark cotton.
So it's like
sheets.
there's a hole in the bed.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a little
Like a
nesty
little-
biz, a divot.
I really like this.
Lucky?
Yeah, well, compared to the last 9 months of us sleeping in the woods most of the time.
Since we started on this grand adventure, I've managed to secure us really lovely things. And then Penny offered up her lovely workshop. Lucky.
Well, maybe luck's the wrong word, especially given that I'm very not lucky. Like statistically.
Good night, Grumbly.
Look, are you
Good night.
hungry?
Good night, booger.
Excuse me. What did you just say?
Well, what did you just say?
I called you by your name.
You said grumbly
No.
or grumbly.
What? Who said that?
You said that.
No.
I think you did.
I called you by your name.
This is exactly what I was saying downstairs. He knows less than nothing because he's a liar.
Hold on, did he say grumbly?
Oh yeah,
or
of course
grumbly?
he did.
I said
grumbly.
I said the latter.
Both
No,
of
the
them.
middle one.
Grumbly?
No, the middle one.
Grumbly?
No, the middle one.
Well, that is the middle one now.
Well, I didn't say that.
All right, booker.
Good night, Grumbly.
Good
Can I
night.
close the door real quick? Can I go?
I'll get in one of the nests, and I'll walk around a few times in a little circle, and then I'll just I wouldn't even take my armor off. I'll just
You hear the clanging and rattling.
yeah.
I don't want to go to bed yet. I'm still hungry. Maybe they've got a little kitchen and we could just tear down.
Are you asking me to come with you and help you steal food?
You're like basically.
Okay, let's go. I got nothing better to do.
Okay, let's go.
Do you think they'd be upset if I cut up their sheets? Oh well, I start cutting up their sheets.
What are you doing?
I gotta replenish the bandages that I lost when we helped that dragonfly. I just started shoving the bandages in my back.
You completely destroy the bedding.
I felt so bad that I couldn't fix that guy's little wing that fell off.
Yeah, and I feel really bad you gotta sleep on that bed after what I did to it. Anyway, do you wanna go downstairs and get some food?
That's all right. I can just kind of like burrow around into the cut up sheets, but it's snack time now, so let's go.
So we're gonna make our way out of the door and see if we can find a kitchen or a stock room of some sort.
Okay. So you, both of you poke your heads out, and you look left.
Stacked style, like
exactly,
Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo it. And you look left, and you look right, and you see the long hallway, and there's a row of similar doors that you're staying in across the hallway. But down to your left, you hear very faintly what sounds like the clinking of plates and silverware.
That sounds like food.
Yeah, it does. Now, I'm gonna have you do this, okay?
I'm gonna wrap up her feet in the cloth.
This is so, we make less sound. Our feet? You hear?
Oh, it's kind of comfy too.
Yeah, well, you're not keeping it. Let's go.
Oh. All right.
Okay.
The tiptoe.
You
Are
tiptoe.
you wearing them too?
Yeah,
Okay.
because my feet would stick. So you hear
You bandage your feet and you creep your way down the hallway. And then suddenly, as you're approaching this doorway, there's a large grandfather clock. There is a suit of crow-shaped armor on either side of these walls, large portraits, beautiful artwork. And you see a shadow darken the door as it seems as if a figure is leaving this room as the light is shining out of it. What do you do?
Like it's coming towards us.
Like it's coming out of the room, and you see that basically the hallway is going out, and it splits. There's a little doorway where the sound's coming from, and then some stairs going down to the left.
What do we do?
So if we stayed where we were, they wouldn't see us.
If you could try to duck behind some armor or a clock or something, you could certainly try to do that.
I don't see why we don't get into the clock and open the door and we'll get into the clock.
Okay.
Can we do that? It's a big grandfather clock.
Okay.
We can squeeze.
Whoever would like to make roguish feats may make the roll.
11.
11.
Ooh.
Okay. Choose one of the businesses.
We don't. Oh,
Evidence?
God. Yeah, I guess we would leave evidence of our roguery behind.
So
Tail of our little thing is sticking out of the cloth.
you dart into this clock. It closes, and you hear a gong, and you kind of rattle around as you look, and you see a crow walk out wearing similar robes, and it seems to be a female. And she stops. She looks down the hallway, looks back, shrugs, and continues down the stairs. The coast is clear to the kitchen.
It's a close one.
We did it, so let's go.
All right.
So we'll hop out and I'm just gonna run with reckless abandon.
I'm gonna look up at the clock.
I really want to sleep in.
I'm gonna set the clock back so that the time's wrong, and they wake us up later.
You do that.
The entire Dimwood is going to collapse through that 1 hour chain because they run everything like clockwork.
two or 3 hours.
Oh, yeah, we're
It's like
fucked.
nuclear clock.
It's daylight saving time, bitch.
So you're running into the kitchen with reckless abandon. And
With just glee.
with glee, you run in and it is empty. And you see a beautiful kitchen with stone walls, large counters, and you see that there are the remnants of what seems to be a celebratory feast. seems to be incredibly dignified. Beautiful trays of fruits and large platters of fish and and beautifully baked bread with seeds baked on the top. And what do you do?
I can't believe that you'd have a party and not even invite us. We were right there and we asked about dinner and he just said, no. That was really rude.
Well, to be fair, he did try and kick us out. If it hadn't been for Booger telling him that we should stay the night, I think that he probably would have kicked us out.
Well, that's not nice of him at all, and that just makes me mad.
You know, the only way to make yourself feel better is to steal all of his food.
Eat my feelings? Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
That sounds about right.
So I'm gonna just, as much as I can, in my bags
I open
and
up my
cheeks,
pack
so
and I look at her to just...
I'm gonna do the chipmunk where I'm like taking 8 peanuts and they're just gonna disappear into my mouth.
I'll make an attempt roguish feats, or unless you are kind of doing this haphazardly, then you can do the luck to see you through.
I'm gonna do roguish. 7, 8, 9, 10. Luck or roguish is finesse, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So 10.
10. So you can choose. You don't have a clear path. You use the resources, or you leave evidence.
Oh, totally leaving it.
Leave evidence. Yeah.
Everywhere in the pans.
I will leave some evidence.
You are clanging. The tray falls off and scatters as you are shoving a large, almost like this cornucopia-looking thing full of all these beautiful, delightful roasted gourds. You're shoving it in, and it hits a row of spoons, and they all clatter and fall to the floor.
I take some of the spoons and put them in my pack.
And
get thrown out.
you manage to shove all of this into your packs. And oh my gosh! Thank you so much,
Swordbreaker. Thank you.
Thank
That
you.
is so nice of you.
Oh my gosh!
Zeltara's Party Wipe Games,
Welcome
Tiflani, Cornflax, Flakes, Cornflakes. Great mistake. I can't
Flaxseed,
read.
cornflakes.
Thank you so much. You're so wonderful.
Thank you.
We adore
Thank you.
you.
We appreciate
That's why we don't let me read.
Exactly right.
Exactly right. You could have ended it there.
As trays and crumbs are scattered all around the kitchen, that chipmunk and a frog scamper back to the room and slam the door shut.
Clear your exhaustion track.
Yeah.
Because
Don't mind if I do.
you're my family and we have each other's backs. When we run out of oh, never mind, don't. Because we haven't been run out of the clearing yet. But if we can run out of the clearing, because our nature's got out of hand, then you can... it says when you help them fulfill their nature, you both clear your exhaustion track. So I don't know if it's which one it is, whether it's the...
My nature is
Hers might.
kleptomaniac.
Yeah.
Your exhaustion track when you selfishly steal something. Valuable.
So, yeah, it's the italicized just says when you help them fulfill their nature, you
That's
both
what
clear
we
your
did.
exhaustion track.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you're good.
So the
Okay,
getting
cool.
out of the clearing, I think, is the flavor text.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yay, so we're no longer exhausted at all.
Hey, that was great. I'm just so happy. Do you want any of this? No? Okay.
Yeah, again, I'm really sorry about what happened to your bed, and I go get in the other one and go to sleep.
I'm just gonna empty all of it into a nest of food around me and just eat myself to sleep.
You,
Stay ever.
Hazel, you fall asleep. Just crumbs and scraps of food. Oh, thank you for the
you,
follow,
Omnipresent
Rage.
Thank you.
Blueberries smeared on
Yeah,
the
blueberries
sheets.
smeared on the sheets.
Everything's
Your fur is
sticky and,
completely stained with danishes. The proto region just danishes are just crumbling and covering you.
Why are there so many Danishes?
And you all awake, and you have slept,
Clear an exhaustion.
and you clear an exhaustion, everyone. And you awake. You all are congregating. It seems a little bit weird to both of you, gentlemen, that they haven't. You remember that they were going to wake you up first thing in the morning, and it's taking them a little bit.
I'm just sitting there, I woke up naturally, and I'm like, oh my Goodness, my acorns, where's the tea?
Did I ever say that they had tea?
I didn't say I was talking to you.
Oh, they had tea. There was a lot of
They
it.
have tea. Wait, so we're in the same room.
Oh,
so
no, I'm sorry.
So when
I'm not there.
Booker went,
I slam the door, you just let yourself in.
like 5 seconds later, open the door and the log cannons go bad.
No, it wasn't even just walk in and go to bed. It was walk in and circle your bed 3 times and then bang.
I crashed into bed.
I forget. When we sleep, it only clears exhaustion, right? No,
One
okay.
exhaustion, yeah.
One exhaustion.
What do we have to do
If
to
you
clear our
can. If
decay?
you're wearing your chainmail, you can't.
Get paid, resupply.
So, or you have your. Does your armor have the cumbersome? Or no? Is it just plate?
No, it's weighty.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
So for you, it's only when you travel. Okay,
Yeah, when
got
I
it.
travel, I get exhaustion.
I wasn't talking to you. I was thinking out loud.
Oh well. I mean, I could check for you if you'd like.
Check on the tea.
Yeah, on the tea, like you just said.
I suppose that might be a nice thing for you to do.
I mean, I could use a spot of tea as well, so I will go check on it.
I'll walk over the door, I'll turn the handle, and I'll open it, and I will...
All right, and I will walk out.
And then just as he rounds the door to start to walk down the hallway, I'll say, thank you, Grubbly.
I look down both hallways. Are there any ravens or crows or anybody?
You hear that there's a bit of that you hear the clanging and scraping and footsteps down the door in the direction of the kitchen.
I'll walk down there.
You walk down and you see that there is an old bird, not old, but a little past middle age, wearing spectacles, and it's not a raven or a crow. It seems to be a pigeon in full butler wear. As he's picking everything up, it's like, I don't remember doing any of this.
What happened in here? Good God! The whole thing is torn apart. What? The whole thing. The whole thing's torn apart.
Oh, please don't tell anyone.
You've been ransacked, it seems.
Oh, I thought I could have sworn I cleared everything up, but I must have slipped my mind. I must have left all of this all out, and I am a terrible sleepwalker. Oh, don't tell anyone.
Well, I won't tell anyone if. So here's the thing. We were told there would be tea.
Shit on this guy before. This poor guy is waking up 3 hours late. His face is a mess.
That's all I say. I just forget it.
Oh, I'm so sorry. The clock, I must have slept in. My clock got all mixed up. My alarm didn't go off. I'm sorry. I'll fix it right away.
Oh my God.
My mind is going. I feel like I'm losing my mind. As he rushes over, he quickly brews a pot of tea.
All right, we're in room 3 down the hallway. I won't tell anyone. Thank you for the tea.
Please don't. Thank you.
I won't.
I'm just trying to do my job. Oh.
What a mess.
I'll go to the room. They're making us tea.
Thank you.
I'll open the door to the ladies' room. Did you all get tea?
Hazel's completely asleep on a bed that's an absolute mess, and I'm sitting on the comfy bed. I've made myself a plush pillow, so I've got a bunch of pillows around me. I'm holding a book in one hand. I'm writing in a notebook with the other, and I'm turning the pages with my tongue. Yeah, did you need something?
Yoshi style. Did you all get tea? Because we didn't get tea.
No, nobody said anything about tea.
Oh, well, I'm making us tea. Just thought I should let you know.
Oh, how are the kitchens?
Oh, it was terrible. It was totally ransacked in the middle of the night.
Yeah, the
But
people in this place are lousy at their jobs.
Yeah, he's a terrible sleepwalker, apparently. So, I guess he did it in a sleep deprived madness. Is that how it works? Oh, I don't know how sleepwalking works.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never done it myself.
Well, we should get an early start as soon as we get our tea.
Well, I mean, if you look at the time, we're already like 2 hours earlier than usual.
Oh. I'll go out to the hallway and I'll look at the clock.
Oh, you're right.
That's not bad. And I'll come back in.
That's weird.
You're knocking on the door. It's the vision. He has tea.
Oh, wow, thank you. Just like was promised, you are fantastic. Thank you.
The tray is rattling as his apron is like stained with all of the mess of the remnants of cleaning up after Hazel.
Buddy, what's the matter? Just take a deep breath.
Your friend caught me in the act.
What?
I believed I could have sworn I cleaned everything up, but I must have been sleepwalking and devoured everything and not destroyed the kitchen. Oh.
Well, don't panic. It's probably fine. It can't be that big of a deal.
Oh, it's a big deal. Please don't tell.
We're not going to tell anyone.
Please don't tell Master Zacharias.
I just wanted some tea.
I can't afford to go back down the falls. You know what they'll do to me.
We're not going to say anything.
Please don't.
Kelsey's about to get guilted out of this.
Oh my goodness! Does Master Zacharias have plans for what's next? Well, I was just waiting for the tea and the wake up call, and then we were supposed to do something.
I've also slept in. Oh, I'm a terrible butler.
Were you the one who was supposed to give us our next? Leave? I mean, we're gonna get blindfolded?
Oh, I was supposed to find. I was supposed to go fetch. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Is there a reason you brought us this tea and you didn't bring us any cream?
Well, Grumley asked for the tea. If he forgot the cream, that...
Oh, that's
like
my fault.
Grumley.
Can I go get the cream for you so you don't have to go?
No, I'm stupid.
This is... I don't know what's going on with this fella, but I'm a little concerned.
He shuffles off. You have tea now with no cream.
This will suffice, I suppose. What the hell is that guy's problem?
Oh, he's having a rough time.
I wish he would just calm down a little bit. He's making me a little agitated.
Well, he's trying his best, clearly.
Yeah, if he'd just settle down, we'd all be all right.
Well, either way, I'm going to leave him a nice tip for taking such good care of us.
All right. Well, fine.
I'm going to... I'll wait.
Moments later, he's back with cream. He has a small little pitcher. He brings, I'm sorry.
A saucer.
A saucer.
Oh, thank you.
Well, it looks like you're having a rough day, so I would just like to just take this as a thank you from all of us.
And I'll give him whatever, a little bet, whatever 1 decay worth
Okay, you do that.
of a pouch of coins would be.
1 coin.
1 coin. A pouch of coins would be 1 coin.
When you're ready to leave,
coin.
there'll be someone in the foyer looking for you. I'll be sure to alert them. Please don't tell.
We're not going to say anything to anyone, but I'm assuming with Grumley telling us the state of the kitchen, there's no breakfast, so we might as well just head down to the foyer.
We should go.
I'm so sorry. I didn't have time to make breakfast. All the dishes are gone.
You mean you would say that you brought us tea and you didn't even think to bring us little tea sandwiches?
What did you say?
Somebody said Danishes.
Yeah, our friend here said Danishes. They're all gone.
What kind of place is this that you would serve tea without any tea cakes?
They're all gone.
Did you eat all of the tea cakes?
I spent 6 hours last night baking them for the whole weekend.
Oh, that's terrible.
And they're all gone.
I'm sure that
How
They're all gone.
How does something like that just vanish overnight?
It must have been me. I have a terrible...
I bet it wasn't you. You don't look.
It must have been me. It couldn't have been...
Belly.
It couldn't have been the Corvids. They're far too prim and proper. It must have been me.
Maybe it was.
It must have been you.
It must have been me.
Do you have some sort of penchant with some sort of horrible, insatiable hunger?
No, but I haven't been sleeping well lately, and I've
Strange.
been found walking in the halls. It must have been me. It could have been. Who else would it have been?
No, it must have been him.
I don't know. I heard a crash in the middle of the night, and like buzzing, like maybe some like little buggies got in and got in the kitchen and just went crazy. You know, it's that time of year where they swarm and they're awful hungry because it's almost time for hibernation.
I'm going to the foyer.
I will join you.
The great hibernating sapflies.
That sounds exactly like what
I
they
must have
are.
let them in.
Oh no, I don't promise you. Please.
I'm a terrible butler. Go,
I
Mom.
think that you could probably redeem yourself in the eyes of the household.
I'll never live this down. Terrible weight and shame has been put upon my family.
Just before you go, just make sure to buy yourself something nice. You're clearly in a bad way. What's your name?
Oh, my name is Bruford.
Oh,
Bruford. Well, Bruford,
that's a great name.
you've taken very good care of us, so you should feel very proud as a butler.
I feel thoroughly butler.
I'm gonna wait for him to leave before I say another goddamn word.
I feel thoroughly butler.
I love getting thoroughly butler.
I'll see myself.
What have you done?
I'm waiting until he leaves before I say anything else.
The tray is shaking. He almost drops a teacup of your dirty. Hibernating sapflies and sleepwalking. Oh, shame. And he walks off, sniffling and whimpering as he leaves.
I look directly at Hazel and I say, I'm going down to the foyer now. We, with all of the things that we've seen, this is by far one of the most messed up things. I refuse to have that man's blood on my hands. I'm heading to the foyer.
You know, before you leave, though, I tore up one of the beds. You don't think they're going to blame that on him, do you?
Oh no. This is unbelievable. I'm getting out of here. I'm going to the foyer. I will wait an appropriate amount of time, and whether you all show up or not, I may be gone. Good luck.
On a totally unrelated note, do you have anything in your pack that gets rid of blueberry stains?
I don't know, actually. You could try to pee on it.
Maybe I should just take this sheet with me.
I already took the shit.
All of it?
Yeah, you were sleeping on just sticks.
Oh, this is not coming out of the mattress now. We should go.
Like a $15,000 mattress covered in
Danish cheese.
A few cut marks where it was a little rough when it was cutting everything up.
Fluffs. Feathers are up.
I wait until Booker leaves.
You know, you could just switch your mattress with Booker's.
That seems like a lot of work. I've got a little bit of a tummy ache, actually. I'm probably hungry. Let's just go.
I'm probably hungry.
I leave too. I go down the waterfall. I just jump. Okay. Okay.
Oh my god, me! I'm literally crying.
Me too.
Booker, as you make your way down the large staircase, curving around, you see the various portraits of old-looking crows and ravens that seem to be probably the former Grand Masters of this order going back centuries, all with that similar style of robe and medallion around their neck. And as you make your way down, you see a bit of light coming through the front windows as you see the misting falls just past the main entrance of this mansion. Waiting for you, beside a large bust of probably what you seem to be the first Grand Master of the Rook-Roost Order, is a robed crow. He's considerably younger than Zacharias. He's folding his talons or his wings as he looks at you and he says, "So, where are the rest of them?"
Oh, they should be here. Hopefully any minute. They're on their way. Just finishing up. Whatever they're doing.
And what are they doing?
packing the things, finishing up their tea. There was a very nice butler gentleman who brought us some tea, and he seemed very lovely. And we're just finishing up, and then we're going to head on out quickly.
Very well. And not much longer, the rest of the party, I assume, joins you.
Yeah.
And so as you all make your way down in the foyer, he nods to all and says, I am Brother Pazriel. I will be guiding you down the waterfall. Do you consent to being blindfolded?
Yeah, just give me the damn blindfold. I'm not going to get tortured and have this taken out of me, Jesus.
Which one of us gets the blindfold that I cut into her? These
That
two?
was Zacharias' blindfolds.
Doing it again. 8.
8. So you choose 2.
2. I don't have a clear path of escape, and I'm going to leave evidence of my roguery behind.
Okay. It's very much your eyes are poking through the blindfold as he just looks at you and he says, "Well, keep your eyes closed." As he guides you through the doorway, and you leave the mansion behind as the waterfall mists and roars in front of you, and you manage to make your way down the long, winding path, around cliff sides, over rocks, down ravine faces, as you eventually, after probably about 2 hours, after making your way down, you arrive at the outskirts of the village, the clearing of Rye Barrel Falls, and he stops at the base, and he says, "Master Zacharias says you may prove useful for the order, and if you decide to do what he thinks is the right thing, he said to give you this." And he hands you all a very tightly folded missive with a indescript wax seal.
Just one.
Just one. Whoever is closest he'll take. After he removes the blindfolds from you.
He gives it to Booker.
No, I don't want this. Why are you handing this to me? Hazel, take this.
She'll get sticky things all
Yeah,
over
fine,
it.
Becky, have it.
Take it.
There you go. I don't want it.
I'm familiar with wax seals. Hamilton always sends me parchment with wax seals on it.
That sounds nice.
What did he give us? A
Missive.
A letter that's sealed with a wax seal.
Missive.
And with that, he gives you a nod and he says, "Safe travels." And then he flies away, flaps his wings, and soars back up the waterfall. You see him disappear behind the water. What do you all do? You're in Rye Barrel Falls. You see the great town built into the side of the river once again. The nice residential areas built up around. You actually see that there is off to the side in the nicest area of this town what seems to be almost like a castle of a house. Built that's looming large next to the waterfall that probably has a beautiful view of the whole valley area. As you see the large swaths and hills of stumps, rows and rows and rows where the forest has been cleared out. You see the logging operation is it's a little bit later in the morning than you had intended to get set out on, but it's probably noonish. After sleeping in and taking the time to make your way down the falls. What do you do?
So did he say that if we headed south to Clicklock Crossing, we could meet with otters there, or that we could meet with cats there?
I mean, he specifically mentioned trying to talk to the otters.
Right.
I think he also said, because you made some show of saying you had a connection,
Right.
that we should also talk to the cats there as well. But not knowing who the missive is for, I assume it's probably for the otters. But we don't know that, right?
Aren't there a lot of otters around here? Because we saw them on the logging things, didn't we?
I saw beavers.
You saw a lot of beavers. You saw maybe a number of otters, potentially.
So
but
it seems like they want us to deliver this missive somewhere.
you don't know.
I mean, it's very vague. We're not sure.
Should we open it?
I mean, that kind of defeats the purpose of it being wax sealed.
Does it? I thought it just kept it closed and you have a rubber band.
And also unaltered.
Oh, I've never had anything like this before.
Well,
I think that they would know if we were to try to open this, wouldn't they?
Oh, we didn't know who it's for, though. We don't know who to give it to.
Well, he said for the otters.
Oh, dear. I wasn't listening.
But that's very vague.
Which order?
I don't know any of them.
Do you know any orders?
I don't think I've ever met one.
I think I have either.
Has anyone met an otter besides Booker, who's always talking about how he met lots of otters?
yeah, I know a few of them.
No, a lot of orders.
Well, some. I mean, I had friends growing up, in Muck bed.
Oh, it's nice.
There was.
Do you know orders?
I might have seen one here or there, but I didn't pay much attention to it.
Well, I guess we could just come upon one and see if they want it.
We could always just hold it up to a light source and see if we can see through the parchment and read the letter without opening it.
Wait, you can do that?
I could sure try.
Oh, well, then let's do that right away. Well, you should do that.
And so I want to hold it up to the sun and see if I can see through it.
You hold it up to the sun, and you're trying to get a good sense. As you hold it up to the sun, you see letters very clearly written in a thick ink, and it's hard to tell, but it says the first line. It seems to be who it's addressed to, and you make out the letters VAGABONDS, comma. It's addressed to vagabonds.
Yeah, no, this isn't for us. This is for the artists.
Well, I'm looking at my character sheet, and my cunning is in +0, so I think that checks out. That I would not understand that this isn't meant for us. Wait, it's meant for who?
No, I looked at it straight. I could see it right here. OTTERS.
Oh, so just the otter. So we see to find any otter. Let's look for one.
Yeah, and I'm going to slice the seal open and start reading
Ah,
it.
why would you? That's for the otters.
Yeah, I know.
What if Otter Jim
immediately
could've done it?
under it says "kill the vagabonds"? So I gotta find out what he wants.
Oh no! What a
It's addressed
treacherous
to us, Brumley. Come on.
And I turn it around and show him.
I've also got 0 to cunning.
You rip open the seal and you read
All
a note, and it says, "Vagabonds, should you wish to turn the tide in Muckbed Creek and Wart Wallow, there is a beaver, Nottingham Toboggan.
What a name.
He's down the river." Or through the wood in Click Clock Crossing. He knows more than he lets on, and he's very trusted by the Marquisate.
Oh, this guy seems like he knows his stuff.
Well, it seems to me like we don't really have a choice. But we were just so close to New Felicia.
Well, how about one day I'll take you up there and I'll introduce you
Why
to
don't we
Sheriff
just go there
Beatrix.
instead?
My only thought process is it might be a little safer. We take the river back the way we came. There's a good chance we might run into the Erie, but we will waste time. That was really the only other thought I could think of other than I just really wanted to see New Felicia.
Well, I'm frankly not too sure how they would take my presence there.
Well,
I'm a bit concerned about that.
And if that's the case, then I certainly don't want to put us in more danger, because that could be the case too. I've just never been. And that's all right. I understand. We just have to... We gotta find this guy, one way or another.
Why are we looking for this guy?
He has connections with the cats.
Okay, so why do we want connections with the cats? I thought we were looking for artifacts.
We're looking for artifacts, but the point is that it could be dangerous if the Erie takes over the whole Dimwood.
Well, I mean, it's always dangerous.
Well, I mean, I guess you're right, but
Do you think that they'd keep moving north this soon? After a battle already?
Zagarius thought so.
What does he know?
And I don't know about you guys, but like I'm not really all that interested in getting involved in the war between the Marquise and the Erie. That's not my thing.
I certainly don't want to fight it, but I also don't want them birds everywhere because then I'll have to stay in the woods all the time.
I definitely don't want that either. I mean, I need to keep selling my things to the Marquise, but I also don't want to get embroiled in all of this stuff.
Well, how about this? We go find this guy and we just talk to him. And if we don't like what he says, then we can go to New Felicia. Or we can go anywhere else. We don't have to deal with him. But I don't like the Erie at all. And I think that if we can do something to stop their conquest, then I think that the Marquise, they're bringing jobs, they're bringing industry to the Dimwood.
That's true.
And these tyrannical aristocrats.
What?
The birds are tyrannical aristocrats.
He's lost me.
Is it?
So the thing with Grumley is that he's not very smart, but he's got a good heart. Okay.
I don't understand.
Neither do we.
An aristocrat, like a high society noble type.
No, I know what you're trying to say. I just don't think you know what you're trying to say.
What do you mean? There's a whole court of aristocrats in New Felicia.
Well, that's probably because they're cats.
Oh, yeah, that's just a word for them, no, aristocrats.
Yep.
So anyway, they're fed. It's the entire thing. They're squabbling amongst themselves. They don't care about the people. They oppress them so that they can rule because they have this self-centered need to control the whole Dimwood.
Here, hold on. And I'm going to pull a box over. Why don't you get up on here and say it a little louder for everybody? Stand up on this box. Tell everyone what you're thinking.
What would Grumley? All right, sure. I mean, I don't see why. But anyway,
They're passing out pamphlets down with the aristocrats. The feathered aristocrats.
They lost to Dimwood because they fell to civil war. These people were oppressed. They were leaderless. It was a lawless forest. And the Marquise herself came in and brought civilization and brought people like me to keep the peace and.
Do you think he knows he's not a cat?
Bringing industry.
I'm not so sure. I'm gonna let him keep going and see where this goes.
No, me too.
Anyway, I think we should head south through the woods.
A crowd starts to gather as Grumley is standing on a box shouting about it. They all are sitting there and nodding. Yeah, Erie actually. I mean, I don't like those guys very much at all.
Seeing these people start to gather,
they're all starting to gather.
I'm gonna take my hat off and just be like, no, please, alms for the preacher, alms for the preacher.
It's how we afford these pamphlets.
And I'm constantly writing them and passing them out. Writing them and passing them out.
Alms for the orator.
They would sooner cast the denizens out of the Dimwood.
Listen to this man. Alms for the preacher. Alms for the preacher.
Take a pamphlet.
Oh, I mean, they would, yeah. Well, we hate them. And there's a couple of you see that there's a couple of beavers and loggers that are walking over. They have glasses of rye and like large tankards of ale as they're all drinking, and they all see you. And Booker, as you are sticking your hat out, please make a persuade or trick.
Cunning or cunning?
Yeah, the same for me. The difference
No, persuade is charm.
Charm, yeah.
Charm versus cunning.
Well, but they're both plus 2.
That's the same for him.
Oh, I see.
That's what I'm saying. They're both the same. So the difference is if I fail on a persuade an NPC, GM will tell me what I need to do to sway them. The other one is I get like a forward again. I'm going to go with persuade.
Yeah.
I'm not. It's going to be an 11, baby.
Ooh.
And then as I'm holding the hat out and people have their rye, I'm you don't mind if I get a little drag of that? Yeah, bombs for the orator.
And so you start to see as Grumman is like, wow, this dog knows what he's talking about. And they say, oh, he's even got a little raccoon friend. And they start to throw coins.
Raccoon
and
friend.
You get a total of 8 decay worth of coins.
Whoa!
As you are all 2 each as far as...
I'll divvy them up evenly.
As the hat is completely full of coins. As as people are starting to gather around. Is there anything you'd like to do with this swayed mob?
Not Grumley. No, Grumley's just talking to his friends.
We've long stopped listening.
I just put him on a pedestal and let him go for it.
So I'm just trying to convince them that we need to turn the tide of the war.
This beaver gentleman, Nottingham.
No, I think that's enough. All right.
I'll go around when I'm passing out the pamphlets and I'll say,
No, it's just such a shame. If you know anyone down in Wartwaller, you gotta tell them to revolt.
And as Grumley starts to mention this gentleman, I'm gonna come down, buddy. Here, I got something for you, and I'm gonna put 2 coins in his hand as I try to pull him down from the soapbox.
What's this for?
Yeah, you've convinced us very, very handedly. We're going to follow your plan.
Oh, all right.
Thank you for the follow, Penny for Tail.
Thank you. Penny for Tail.
it's a great name.
So the crowd, you see the crowd looking around, and they all be like, "Oh!" And you hear people like, "Oh, I got family down in Wardwall. I'm gonna go right to them right now."
Yeah, you better tell them to rise up.
And I think I know someone in Muck Creek
These
too.
clearings, they gotta rise up.
Ever since I got a job here at the mill, my life's been great. And
That's right.
And so the large crowd, after filling Booker's hat and starting to chatter amongst themselves,
I give you a high five.
Did it again, my friend.
I couldn't have done without you guys.
and they start to disperse and begin to go about their different way.
So the question is, through the woods, or do we take the river? I think we just go through the woods like old times.
My grandmother's house is through the woods. It's over a hill, but it's not that far.
And we didn't have much luck with the river. That was pretty dangerous.
It's just a little too open for me. I kind of like being under the cover of the trees. I mean, you can swim, but if I fall in, I'm as good as dead.
I mean, well, we were only being chased because we had, the bird and we had him with us. And I don't know, maybe we could just hitch a ride with some of the beaver folk. They had lots of boats going down.
My vote's for the woods.
You know what we could always do? We could cut down a few trees. I've got plenty of cloth now. We can make some rope. We could tie it all together, make ourselves a raft, and go down the water. It's probably going to take us like 17 to 18 hours to do it, but I'm sure we could get it done.
Oh, it's a long time.
Yeah, well,
It's been a long time since we've had an adventure through the woods. Don't you think? Remember that last time I passed out because there's mushrooms and you got to save me with that snake oil? Good times, those.
We did find a box of soap.
We did find that box of soap.
To be fair, we found that box of soap because I was looking for spiders, okay?
Well,
Do
nothing
you
says
think
you
there would
can't
be-
look for more
I was
spiders.
going to say, do you think there'd be some more spiders in there? Because I'm all out of spider silk.
That could be.
This is a democracy, so why don't we put it to a vote? Who votes the river?
Well, I think that it's only fair if Booker gets 3 votes. I get 4 votes.
Why is it fair?
Hazel gets 2 votes and you get 1 vote. Because you get a vote for how smart you are.
That's true.
That means I don't get any votes at all.
Well,
You know what? I
everybody
wasn't
gets
going
one
to say it,
vote.
but I think
Everybody
that's
gets-
okay.
Everybody gets 1 vote
Yeah, you get a complimentary vote for just being part of the group.
for being a person.
I suppose that's more like a republic than a democracy, but that's fine.
What would you know about a republic or a democracy? Have you ever read the book on it?
I'm from across the sea, or out of the
Yeah,
forest,
look, and
or
I quickly write, that's not a republic, it's a democracy, and I hold it up.
You see this book? It's clearly saying that it's not a republic, it's a democracy.
The man stands on one soapbox, and now he thinks he can wax
Yeah,
philosophical.
what is this? The book literally right here says you're wrong.
Oh, well, all right, then just I vote the woods, and if I'm overruled either way.
What are your votes?
I want to vote at the end. I withhold my vote.
So you're not voting?
No, I'm just going to vote less.
Hazel,
What?
I'd be happy to purchase your votes.
What you got?
Oh my goodness, what do I have for you? I have my mother's world-famous rhubarb pie recipe.
And all you have to do is vote and he'll give it to you.
Well, no, you sell me the votes, I give you the recipe, and then I'll vote on your behalf.
Or that.
I've got to see that recipe.
Or we just go through
I
the
quickly write down a recipe in my notebook and hand him a piece of paper.
You think that I just carry the world famous recipe on me? And I'm
Well,
like,
I've never heard of it, and I've had a lot of pies.
It's-
I've had pumpkin pie, I've had cherry pie.
it's a muck
Very
bed
fine.
secret. You think my mother's just
I
out there
quickly
telling
grab it
everybody
back
about the...
from you, and I write Muck Bed's secret on the bottom and pass it back.
You think that my mother's just out there telling everybody the recipe? Why would she do that?
Why wouldn't she? If she makes such good pie, she should share it with the world.
Because the pie, my friend, is what she shares with everyone, not the recipe.
Does the pie have like chocolate pudding and gummy worms in it? Maybe with like crumbled Oreos on top?
Not the rhubarb pie, but the muck bed dirt pie does.
Oh wow!
How did
That
you know?
Sounds,
Sounds really
it
good.
sounds like a pie from Muckbed Creek would sound like that.
Really
So
good.
what do you say? Your 2 votes are now mine.
I only had one vote.
No, I thought you said that she had
One vote,
one
two
vote,
votes,
2 votes,
three votes.
3 votes.
Bluefish.
I
So-
thought I just had a complimentary vote.
So 2 votes for me. You'll give me your 2 votes, and the recipe is yours.
I vote through the woods.
All right.
Done. I vote through the woods. That's 6 votes for the woods.
Great, because I also vote through the woods.
Oh, good. I thought we were going to have to fight over
Give
that.
me the
I told you I don't carry the recipe on me. I will get you the recipe when we get to Mudbed Creek.
Oh, that was
Hey.
not a very nice trick, Booker.
Payment forthcoming.
No, wasn't a trick though, because he did flat out say, I don't carry it on me.
Yeah, that's not safe. It's a secret family recipe.
You know
It's
what
at
you
his mom's
did?
house.
Where are you going to get it from? Your mum's? What
Yes.
did your mum's got? You just sold something that wasn't yours, didn't you?
No, that's not how that works. I'm her son. I inherit it. It's fine. It will eventually be mine at
Does that
some
mean
point.
your mom's dead?
I
Oh,
never
God
said
rest
one
his soul.
way or the other.
Oh,
You only get something when you inherit it. If
And I think we should move on. Grumley, lead the way.
I feel terrible.
I just
So
stomp
do
off into
I.
the woods.
I don't want.
You make your way
Oh,
through the
no.
town. You see the Cotton Top Inn. You see the Shrew Ellie busying herself about. You make your way over the bridge across the river as you hear the lonesome piano sounds emanating from the Belgian Barrel as you see Benny Frankles in through the window playing.
Benny Frankles.
Playing that piano as Grumley leads you as you stomp through the woods, heading in the direction of Click Clock Crossing. And so, what resources is everyone
Okay,
giving
we'll
up?
probably go through these woods because it's more direct. So we're probably on this side of the river.
Yeah, that's fine.
Where are we going?
So we're going to Click Clock Crossing. We're just going this way, right?
Oh, gotcha.
And we're going through the woods instead of taking the river.
Correct.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Does it technically matter what side of the river we use?
Technically, no.
Okay.
Technically.
That's what I thought. I just want to make sure.
I was just saying, in case it mattered,
Yep. Okay.
just logically, Grumley would plot the
Okay.
shortest course, which would
So
be-
you make your way through it, and you go into the woods. You make your way over hills and hills and hills of cleared trees, of cleared forest. You pass logging operations. You hear the loud buzzsaw of the mechanical works of the Marquisate as you leave Rye Barrel Falls.
I'll mark it to Ken.
So how many we need? We need a bare minimum of 4 to break even.
Roll to break even.
I'll mark at least 1.
I will as well.
Good night, Forge Breaker.
Night, Forge Breaker.
and I thank you for the gifted subs and for spending time
Yes,
with us.
thank you
We
so
adore you.
much.
I'll
Thank
mark
you.
2. I'll mark 2.
So that puts us at
4.
No, only 3. I'm not marking one. I've only
Well,
got
he's
2 left.
I
doing
did
2.
So 2. Oh, and then
2,
3, 4.
3, 4.
Gotcha.
I can mark another.
I've only got 2 left.
Okay,
So
that's +1.
Okay. Who's rolling it?
I think I rolled last time.
what does it take?
No, it's a flat roll.
Oh.
And then we went 1 over the 4, so the 4 brought us to 0. Now we get a +1. It's just a straight up roll.
Right. So 2, 4, 5. Okay. Here we go. Eight.
Woo, not bad.
Not
8.
bad.
So, let me just check travel moves again. You think I would know this?
See what I would have prepared.
Okay.
I'm curious. Thank you.
These dice roll pretty well.
So-
Magpie dice or Magpie Games dice.
You make your way. You make your way through the forest, and you are traveling for about a couple hours. And as you were leaving, you heard some murmuring from one of the logging operations that you had passed. The murmuring of one of the foremen was upset that they had lost one of their shredders, and it seemed to have just gone haywire. And you thought nothing of it. However, you then continue to make your way through, and as you make your way, this forest looks a little strange. You see that branches are a number of branches on the ground ahead of you, large gashes in trees. You see that there is a tree that seems to have been completely severed in half, not too recently. And then you hear a loud bzzz, ching, 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 the clanking of metal as you see a shape of metal lumbering through the forest. It is very large, as it seems to be heading in your direction, as you see a machine that is made of gears and strange buzzing. It seems to have a head that is in the shape of a cat. And on one arm is a massive ripsaw that is buzzing, and the other one is a large chainsaw. As it begins to stomp forward, bzz, and it's flailing around indiscriminately. What are you guys doing?
Oi, who goes there?
What?
Somebody piloting that thing?
Oh my heavens! What even is that thing? We can't. We gotta get out of its way.
I start barking at it.
Stop, I say!
As you bark at it, it seems to register the noise.
Oh no!
A gear and a spring fly out of the neck as it turns towards you, Crumley, and starts marching towards you. It's buzzsaw out. What are you doing?
I'm gonna run around the back, and I'm gonna try and leap onto the back of it.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
While she's doing that, if I can, sort of getting that, I want to just weapon to weapon.
Grumley, you can't fight this thing!
Just so that she has a better opening, if I can.
Okay.
And I'm making an attack while she...
Okay, so Peggy, you are leaping towards it as you are slicing into it. Grumley, let's see what happens here.
Okay, so I'm going to use my cleave move, because I took out my... where are the weapon moves again? There
We have one weapon move.
Yeah, they're right here.
Yep.
So cleave is different. When I cleave an armored foe at close range, I mark an exhaustion and I roll with might. So I mark an exhaustion here. So,
I'm gonna eat all these hippos.
so I want to roll.
Ooh, pretty good.
So it's an 11.
Oh, way good. Damn.
On a hit, you smash through their defenses and equipment, inflicting 3 decay. And nothing bad happens. But then they can, obviously, they get a...
Okay, so as that happens, you slice into it. Your halberd cleaves through the metal. Gears and springs are spilling out of it. As, however, the buzzsaw slices into you, and you take 3 injury as it slices in. However, as that happens, it is leaning forward, and Peggy, you are easily able to leap onto its back.
I'm going to take out my screwdriver and start undoing all of its bolts and screws.
Peggy, no! While she's doing that, I'm going to run
And I'm
forward
going to
and
use
try to
the wreck
grapple
something
it.
ability.
Yeah.
Okay, make a roll.
While she's doing that, I'm gonna
Five.
try to grapple its leg.
So I fail to wreck it.
Okay.
Can I help?
It's just a fail. I'd have to get a 7 to a 9
Yeah.
to even attempt to do anything with it.
So, are you trying to help, Peggy?
I was trying to grapple it.
Okay.
Its leg.
Okay. So, you start to pull off some of the springs, and it rears up and knocks you off, and you take 1 exhaustion as you fly back. And Hazel, you are trying to grapple it.
Yes.
Oh, here. Oh, and that's basically...
Oh. No,
Oh, no, it's
weapons.
weapon. It is.
Okay, so I'm going to use my small hands feat. So when you grapple with an enemy larger than you, you roll with finesse instead of might.
Okay.
So
It's definitely larger than you.
8, 9, 10, 11. I choose first, and then they choose.
Okay, so you make a grapple attack roll.
You grab. It's finesse. Or
Yeah.
What is it?
It's might, but with my feet, I roll.
Oh.
Yes, you roll finesse.
So I am going to exploit a weak.
Did you roll?
You need to make the roll first.
I rolled 11.
Oh, okay.
8 and then my 3. So I'm gonna wear them down and mark exhaustion. No, I'm sorry. I'm gonna strike a fast blow and inflict injury.
Okay. You do that. So you, as you grapple it, you leap forward and you stab into it quickly with a dagger, and it manages, and you pierce into it. It's starting to malfunction, and it is looking very rough as you, and then it gets to go, and it is going to. Let me just see here, real quick. As it swings its other blade around and slices into you for 2 injury.
Can I take that on my chainmail?
If that's the feature of your armor, yes.
You engage sword to sword. Oh no, wait. I don't know.
What are you doing?
I want to see if I can pick up a rock or something and try to distract, seeing it attacking Grumley and then attack Hazel. I want to try to pick up a rock and shout at it and basically be like, hey, come on, pay attention, look over here, and throw a rock at it.
Okay.
Just to try to draw it away from a distance, so that it can't just turn around and slash me. I want to try to hit it, throw a rock at it.
Okay, I would say persuade an NPC.
That is a 5.
A 5. The rock hits it, and as it turns, it does not seem to look fully towards you, but it does not seem to be registering any of you at this point. Peggy, what are you doing?
I'm gonna walk away into the forest and ignore it.
Okay. Hazel, what are you doing while you grapple with that?
I assume this was very large, so I was just kind of trying to hang onto its leg and wear it out.
Okay, so then it is going to, you're going to exploit a weakness, so you can mark an exhaustion from it, or you can do a quick blow on it.
I will mark an exhaustion and deal, 2 damage? Or 1 damage?
You're going to do 2 injury. So as you do it, so you mark an exhaustion, and as you're grappling with it, you stab into it, and as its gears are pouring out of it, springs are collapsing as it locks up and it collapses onto the ground.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry. I was worthless. I don't even know what that thing was, and I couldn't do anything. I froze.
Is Peggy okay?
You guys ready to go? Come on, we got places to be.
Grumley, are you all right?
I'm fine.
Are you bleeding?
No, I just took a bit of a hit, but it's nothing I haven't dealt with before.
Good God, what is that armor made of?
Well, it's me armor, it's me flesh, it's, I'm battle-hardened. I'm a former soldier.
Oh.
That's good, I guess. Hey, this thing's full of springs.
Yeah, leave it. I don't care. Let's go.
All right, let's go.
Okay.
I guess.
You make your way after having destroyed this shredder. As it is, you kind of hear the grinding of broken gears of this haywire machine as it ruptures and kind of falls apart more as you leave it behind you. You eventually make your way through the forest. You probably sleep overnight, and you arrive on the other side of this path of forest to the clearing of Click-Clock Crossing. You had been here a number of days previously as you see the large central oaken tree that has been carved into a spiral with this large, grand mansion built on top. As you see the rows and rows of burrow houses, the large Better Bank in the center of this clearing. As you see a great number of factories and rows of shops and commerce, and you see these great freight yards where there's either great lines of wagons pulling supplies up and down towards New Felicia and to various points in the conflict. What do you do?
So is this where we're supposed to meet that guy?
We need to meet this beaver guy.
Where do we meet him? Do we go down to the water?
Maybe we just walk up and down the river and look for a beaver.
Do we know what his name is?
I thought it was Nodder.
It was Nottingham Toboggan. No, he's a beaver.
Should we just walk up and down the river and just scream Nottingham Toboggan? That kind of sounds like a code word against some kind of fancy mansion, don't you think?
I would caution maybe against yelling his name, but there weren't any instructions in the note.
No, that's all it said.
Maybe he owns a shop or something. I don't know.
Well, why don't we...
I want to find like a guy walking through town.
You see a rabbit, and you middle-aged rabbit. You grab his arm, and he says, "Can I help you?"
Do you happen to know of any beavers that live in this clearing?
There's a few beavers, yeah. And there's...
Where do they usually hang out? You know, where are all the cool beaver spots?
That's mildly offensive.
No, I'm just, beavers are cool guys, you know, so I just, in case I want to, hang out with a beaver, where could I find one?
Oh, dear heavens.
We're specifically looking for a beaver.
Do you know a beaver? I know a few beavers.
Yeah, his name's Nottingham Toboggan. Do you know where we can find him?
Oh yeah, now he runs the workshop called the Nottingham's Dam.
Oh.
Awesome, cool. And which direction do we go in to get there?
I think it's just right around the corner, just down that road.
We probably walked right past it to get here, huh?
No, it's just towards the other side of the clearing. It'll take you about 30 minutes to walk down there.
Well, thank you so much, friend.
You're welcome. Well, he got some good wares for you, if that's what you're looking for.
We're always looking for wares.
Well, good luck. Glad I could help, I guess.
There was a place I went to once called Wares and Hares. It was run by hares. Bye!
Walk off.
You make your way down, and it's the river bends, and you see the large water wheels spinning in the grain mills and the grist mills as they're churning. You smell the wafting baked goods as it hits your nostrils. You hear the buzzing of bees as you see the birds flapping all around. As you make your way through the town. Eventually down on one side of the river, and you could have sworn you don't remember passing this establishment, but you see that built on the side of the river in a large structure that looks like it at first glance is a haphazard mess of sticks and twigs with packed mud is actually a very intricately crafted a mixture of wood and metal to resemble a beaver's dam, and it's called and there's a large sign that's called Nottingham's Dam. And there's a large hole in the center of this thing, and a sign that has a hammer and a spanner and a wrench crossing. And the door seems to be opening occasionally as people are walking in and out as you arrive. And do you proceed?
Let's go. Yeah.
Okay, so you enter the shop, and you hear the little dinging of.
I push Grumly forward first.
You should go in first, Grumly. I have no doubt you'll be the one to handle the situation much better than the rest of us.
I roll my eyes. I push forward.
You shove Grumly forward as you you see ahead of you this large shop that there is shelves and shelves and shelves filled with all sorts of bits of woodworking, scraps of metal, but intricately crafted. As it seemed as if this beaver is a combination of a tinker and a woodworker. As a wide variety of gadgets and things as you make your way, but there's also things like just a variety of tools for sale. There's a bit of a general store vibe as well, and you see a number of patrons perusing the items on the shelves, and as the bell jingles and Grumbly kind of gets shoved into this space, you see an old beaver with huge buck teeth look at you as you hear a loud slapping of his tail on the firm mud ground of the shop, and he says, "So how can I help you?"
Well, hello, friend.
I read the missive again, and I want to read exactly what it says about this guy.
It says that
You're doing this just in front of it.
Yes.
He says, "Is that your older friend?" And you read that it is he was a beaver that is trusted by the Marquisate, and he knows more than he lets on.
Well, I very much admire all of your wares here. You seem like a good member of the Marquisate, is that right?
Well, they haven't thrown me out yet. I'm just doing what I can here. I'm just minding my wares, just wizarding some wood. It's
Oh, dear Jesus.
Well, of course. You seem very capable with wizarding wood, of course.
I'm
if
having a
that's what you call it.
flashback to a 12-hour drive.
So, and then I'll say,
You have heard of all of the danger down south, have you not?
down in Wardwallow, yes, terrible business. We lost it, but what can you do? The Erie's been really drumming up a lot of trouble lately.
well, is there anyone else around, like nearby?
There's a number of patrons walking around, but you seem to be kind of crowding the actual main front desk here.
I'm going to level with you, friend. We've heard word that the Erie's going to pay the orders to take this clearing next. And we've heard that you might be the right person to talk to. Perhaps a potential ally like myself.
And I pull out from my pack, I pull out my old Marquisate tabard.
Oh, okay. You do that. Make a persuade an NPC check or roll.
I just roll such fucking hot fire.
You really
these
do.
days. 11.
11.
I love how you always say 11.
That's
You
just
can't
me
count
adding
on it.
That's how I have
As he looks at you, as he
so
leans forward, there's a sly look in his eye as he leans forward and
It's like, oh yeah, I'm sorry. However you do it, oh no.
right hand in your
what is that for?
It just, I'm just saying things
I
that are
roll
quintessentially
Rickisms.
Rit.
Yeah.
He's like, and like, those are just his things. Sorry, Mike.
Who sent you?
Well, now, are we able to even say that?
I get the sense that because they mentioned this guy, right? Like they knew him.
Yeah.
I will take the missive and I'll show it to
much
him.
better plan.
Oh, you hand it to him, and he
Just be careful. Just try not
he
to be
looks at
seen
it,
in case there are
and
any birds
he
around.
casts a knowing glance at all of you, and he looks at it, and as soon as like, wait a minute, I know that pen. Store's closed. Leak in the dam, and he shuffles off from behind, and he starts shoving all the people. You see him shove like a rabbit out of the
They're all
way.
with me, by the way.
We don't want you to lose any business. We just came to talk.
Shop's closed. Leak in the dam. Danger. As he shoves all of the customers out. We'll be open later this evening. And the door slams. He begins to lock it up, and you see that there's a large row of locks on either side. It's just the 5 of you in
It's a lot
this.
of damn security.
Was that you were making
That was good.
were you making a joke about the state of which I'm living in the dam?
Excuse her, she's hungry.
Well,
damn, baby.
there's a lot of this is a damn fine establishment.
A fine damn establishment, too. So anyway, what can you tell us?
I can tell you.
He hands you back the missive.
I can tell you. I've been working with the. I assume if this is from Big Bird, you met Sneaks.
Sneaks, was that his name?
We have! Thank you for reminding us of that fine gentleman's name. We did.
And well, he's my informant.
Oh,
Is he the rat guy?
have you seen him lately? Because I'm sure he would have mentioned us. I know for a fact he was watching us.
I haven't seen him in a bit. He said he was going to be on his way, but I'm worried. I'm worried about him.
Well, that's not good.
I sent him north to get some information for the Marquis 8. Do you ally with the Marquis?
Of course we do. And you as well?
Yes, of course. They've served me very well. I wouldn't have as much business as I do if it wasn't for them.
Well, I agree. They've brought jobs and industry. And where's that box that you had me step on? With all the soap in it?
Now's not the time.
I stand up on it and I don't see anything else. I just
How long ago did you send him north?
I got a much nicer boss. Oh, I sent him north about a week and a half ago.
We saw him.
Sneaks?
Yeah.
he's the rat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw him like 2 days ago. He's fine.
I wouldn't worry about him anyways.
When was he supposed to come back?
Well, he usually comes back when he can, but especially sending him to Rye Barrel Falls, I'm worried about him falling to drink.
Well, we can't speak to that. But the rye was good.
I think we can probably speak quite a bit about the guy.
I've never met the man.
Oh, not him.
We just saw him, and we heard his name was Sneaks. What, do you need him? Do you need his information?
Well, apparently not if you've got the information. I've been working on a deal, and I've needed someone who I can trust and not get connected back to the Marquis 8 to go talk to my contact in the Riverfolk Company.
We could do that.
Hey,
I've got a large sum of coin promised by Viceroy Winkilda.
And large, lots of coin.
Large coin, yes, exactly right.
The name's Booker. I'm in.
Is it one large coin or is it a bunch of smaller coins that make up a large sum? That's really important because if it's one large coin, Book is going to try to take it. But if it's a bunch of smaller coins, he'll take most of it and give a few of it to the rest of us.
That's very true.
So if we're all going to go, I just want to make sure we're not giving him one large coin.
Or maybe you could use one of your tools to like
To chop it up.
You'll chop it.
Well, there's a large shipment of gold is ready to be retrieved by the Riverfolk Company. I got friends on the inside. I just need to make sure I can get it to them. I was waiting on Sneaks because he's usually pretty good, but ever since the last time I sent him down towards Drakesmith, he was in a drunken stupor for nearly a month.
Oh,
that's terrible.
well,
That's not trustworthy at all.
So you're saying we can do this? We can help the Marquis 8, and you'll pay us one very large coin,
well, hopefully lots of little coins.
or lots of little coins.
It's easy to carry that.
Maybe normal size ones, like the standard ones we kind of see everywhere.
With a little crown on them,
Yeah. Minted, if you will.
So, you need someone to go. Who's your contact in Muckbed Creek?
He's the president of the Riverfolk Company.
The president himself? Did you ever meet this guy?
Not that I know of, no.
What's his name?
His name is President Gene.
President Gene.
Gene O'Donnell.
I quit. I'm out. I quit. I don't want to play anymore. I hate all of this.
Are we really going to be talking about Gino's dong the entire time we're playing this
O'Donnell?
game?
Yeah.
Oh, I heard dong. I heard Gino's dong.
That's Gino
That's
dong.
five things that I heard, and I can't.
Gene O'Donnell.
Oh, that's so much better than Gino's dong.
I heard Gino Dong.
Gene O'Donnell.
O'Donnell?
O'Donnell.
Oh, Donald.
Gene
Donald.
O'Donnell.
Donnell.
Donnell.
O'Donnell.
So you have to understand why we heard Gino dong. Because
Maybe.
that's what I
Maybe
heard.
on that side of the table.
I heard
He
O'Donnell.
said Gino Dong.
He heard Gino. That's chat.
Yeah, chat, back me up here.
Did he say
O'Donnell.
Gino dong? Because I'm pretty sure he did.
Wait, so is this guy your ally? Is he an ally of the Magpie Games? He's president governor. Gene.
See? Matt heard Gino dong too. Thank you, Matt.
Well,
Thank you.
I should have named him just Gino Dong.
It's never too late.
We'll take care of it
really
later.
made
We
me
got
quit.
it from here, Mike.
Well, he and I go way back. He has no allegiance to anyone but himself. And clams.
Well, I mean, that makes sense. The otters never stop talking about the clams.
They really don't. I just don't. I guess I never stopped talking about wood.
Matt clipped you saying Gino dong.
Well, I guess the proof is in the pudding. That's all there is to it. We have it on video.
Oh boy.
So this Gene O'Donnell guy.
O'Donnell.
So what can
Gene
we do for you?
O'Donnell.
What do we need to do with him down in that clearing?
Maybe we just call him President O'Donnell moving forward.
Oh, President Gene.
Or can we just call him Gene?
Oh, Gene, that's fine.
That's what I
Seems a
call
little
him.
too informal if someone is, the president.
He's, from what I understand, he's highfalutin. He's well connected.
Is it? I thought the river folk were kind of like,
Well, they're very hard workers, but think about the president of all of them. That person would have more money than anyone.
They're very wealthy, as far as I know.
Yeah, but I thought they were still just like laid back,
Well,
Because they're otters?
I mean, they're
If you spend all of your time on the water, it's pretty relaxing.
Before I met you, I spent all my time on the water, and I'm still high strung.
Oh. Wait, is it me?
I wasn't gonna say it.
Oh.
well, for me, it's Grumley.
to be more soothing. For you.
Well, for me, it's the eerie. That they still draw breath.
We push the box toward him again so we can get back up on it.
And I just stand there with like a frown on.
I sell very high quality boxes. I can improve that box for a very small fee.
No, I like this one. There are many like it, but this is my own box. Oh, it's Peggy's box, but she keeps pushing it towards me, so it's kind of like my box.
You just found that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, either way, it's
attached, okay?
So what can we do for you? So we go to talk to this Gene O'Donnell guy.
Yes. Yes, I mean, someone needs to get in that isn't going to immediately get sniffed out by the Erie soldiers and guards.
Oh no.
Well, that's not necessarily. We can do what we can, but
But I think that if Gene gets the IOU from the viceroy, he'll be willing to have his otters backstab those birds. They won't see what came at them.
So
That's great.
we're gonna pay the otters to backstab the Erie.
Yes,
That sounds.
What's the viceroy's name again?
Viceroy Winkilda.
Does she rule this clearing? She's the viceroy of this
Yes, she
clearing?
does.
so are you expecting us to take all of the gold there directly, or are we just delivering a message?
If he knows that I sent you, and that there's an IOU, and just once he takes those clearings, send his otters to Click Clock Crossing, and he'll be paid handsomely.
That makes it a bit easier.
We go way back.
All right. I didn't mean to interrupt you, my friend. Continue.
Well, I thought I was going to send sneaks, but I know that they're mobilizing as soon as they hit Wartwallow. They're not done with just that clearing. Who knows where they're heading?
Then we will help you. Can you write like some kind of letter or something? Or shall we? Does that defeat the whole purpose?
Do we have to go to the viceroy to get the IOU? Is it a formal IOU?
If you spend a night in town, I'll go meet with the viceroy.
Gladly.
Yeah,
We
we
can
had
do
to
that.
just blow in and blow out this time. We didn't even get to look round.
Yeah, we could take some time and enjoy a nice meal together and
I want to go
Insult
see that
more of
big
the townsfolk.
Annette.
ask that. Yes.
Work on our people skills.
Anyway, that is just fine. Take the time you need. She will meet you back here tomorrow.
Well, yes. Meet me back here tomorrow, and I know that the Honeycomb Inn has vacancy. If you need a place to stay, if y'all are agreeing to, can I trust y'all to be not falling to drink?
Of course.
Yes.
Is that what you said? You said, of course, at the same
Yes,
time.
of course.
I couldn't hear because we all said it kind of at the same time, so I just wanted to double check that you,
Why is everyone looking at me?
Booker, also said yes, because it was hard to hear.
I can have a drink. I can sample the local fare. I'm not a drunk.
That's right. Look at this character.
It very clearly says that I'm a hustler and not a drunk. Well, that doesn't really do much in the trust department, but it's fine. Unbelievable. You travel with a bunch of vagabonds, next thing you know that you're a drunk.
Make a persuaded NPC roll.
Oh yeah, you're good. That's going to be an 11.
11.
Me outside of it.
As he
Right
says,
the hell.
Well, I'll talk to my connections at the Honeycomb, and you know what? I'll give you all a stipend in order to as a sign of good faith from the Viceroy.
That sounds fantastic. What are we talking about here?
Well, just nothing much.
And he puts a satchel of coins for 2 decay each.
Well, this seems like it might be the beginning of a beautiful friendship, especially if there's more, where this came from.
Well, there is. If you can turn the tide in 2 old clearings, that could sway the Viceroy quite a bit, and maybe the Marquise herself.
Well, I mean, we'll deliver a message and hope that it does well, but
Do you think that she could eventually hear about this?
When I heard that the Marquise herself was very distraught when she heard that Wardwalla was taken.
it's pretty big news.
We're going to make this right.
I hope maybe someday she would like to meet us.
Maybe one day she will. And then you could see New Felicia.
Well, that sounds lovely.
All right, well, let's go to the inn.
Well, I'll try to find you either tonight or tomorrow morning.
I mean, you know where we'll be. Just send for us if you need us.
I will. Thank you. I'm glad that you come highly recommended.
Good day.
I've never had anybody say that to me before.
Yeah, me neither.
It feels pretty good.
No, it's not bad.
So you all leave the workshop, and you are in Click Clock Crossing. What do you do?
I think maybe we ought to find an inn. What do you think?
Well, why don't we just explore the town? Just take the evening, we'll explore, and we'll get a room at the inn, and we'll have a meal, and I think Brumley would just want to sort of like walk around and just see, just take
I
a look.
suppose it couldn't hurt to explore a little bit.
Did you tell me last time what the tree structure was? I feel like you told me and I didn't write it down.
Yeah, it was the remnants of a very large oak tree that had been carved up, and there's a spiral pathway going up, and there's a large kind of mansion, a large structure built on the top of this thing.
Is it like abandoned, or like what do you mean it was a?
It lived in the remnants of a tree that was a
I
large
see.
oak tree that's
Okay.
been carved
Okay,
up,
got
and
it.
you see that there's actually buildings kind of carved into it, and then there's a large like mansion that's built on top of this thing.
Bet we could see all kinds of things from up there.
Do you want to go up there, Peggy? What do you think?
Do you think it's somebody's home?
No,
It might be like a monument in the town that anybody can go up.
I don't see any signs that say we can't go up.
Not looking for any signs.
Well, let's give it a try, sure.
So as you make your way through the town, you look around and you pass a number of the Marquise presence here is incredibly intense, incredibly packed as soldiers are marching their way through. They seem to be preparing for potential attack from the Erie. As you see that fortifications are kind of being built up, and they're starting to mobilize. It's a lot more. There's a tenseness over this clearing that is a lot more unsettling than it was several days before when you passed through. And you make your way through the town, and you pass the huge Better Bank, and you see a number of heavily armored rabbits that are looking kind of tough, almost like these thugs. And you remember that Benny Frankels had told you that the tax collectors are pretty intense here in this clearing. As you make your way through the town, and you see up at the large mansion, and you see this in these gaudy green lettering. It says up on a sign that seems far larger than it should be, as it says the residence of Viceroy Winkilda.
That's the lady with the IOU.
Not a lady?
Yeah.
Is it? Okay, yeah.
Well, so at the top of the tree is the house?
Yes, at the top of this tree, and there's a wide variety of shops and things kind of built into this tree. And this seems to be quite a frou-frou area, as the property looks incredibly elegantly crafted and carved.
Why don't we go take a look around and just see what we can see, and then we can come back down and have a meal and go to bed.
Sounds good. I just thought if we got up a little bit higher, we could see all the inns and all the restaurants and all the little shops. And anything else we want to see.
You do this, and you make your way through, and as you are kind of walking the town, you notice something seems to be a little off about this place. You notice that a number of these soldiers that are heavily armored or armed seem to be a lot younger than soldiers than you're used to. As a wide variety of rabbits and rabbits that can't be older than in their mid-teens are joining the ranks of the Erie. You see that there is a large number of recruitment tents and structures. And as you're making your way towards the tent, you see that they're at the base of this tree.
Which one, the Erie or the Marquisate?
Marquisate. Okay. And you see a large banner that splayed across it that says, "Do your duty, join the Marquisate." And you see at this large station that there is a rabbit family. Their ears are kind of low back behind their head, and you see that there is a young lad, no older than maybe 14. He's sniffing, and he is looking back at his parents, and you see that two Marquisate soldiers step forward, and the mother is crying and weeping as one of them manages to pry this boy away from the parents. And the husband of this rabbit kind of grabs her and consoles her as she cries, and the father waves at his son as the mother can barely look as she turns and waves as the husband has to pull his wife away from this. As you see the Marquisate recruiter, take this young boy and guide him back. He's looking around. This young rabbit is looking around, very timid and afraid, as he's guided back into this building. And you see that one of the inside, there's a cat that hands him a spear, and this rabbit teenager is looking at it, and he reaches out and he takes it. The door closes, and that's what you can see as you're making your way up this towards this tree.
Gromley, what the hell was that?
I guess they are conscripting young lads in this clearing.
Does that seem like normal to me?
I would say, with your knowledge of the Marquisate, that is generally not the practices of New Felicia, from what you were used to. All the cats and the rabbits, mice, and foxes that you knew were, little past 18. They were of age. Definitely not as young as this.
No, this doesn't seem right at all.
It's too little.
Frankly, they don't conscript unless they're full-grown animals. Maybe it's the Viceroy has different rules. I've never seen anything like it. Unless the Marquise thinks that they're such a threat. With the Erie being one clearing away, that she's trying to get ahead of it and draft even young lads.
That didn't look very voluntary.
It didn't.
I don't think it's voluntary. I think...
Is that normal?
Is there conscription in other clearings? Or is it...
I would say that it's kind of nebulous from what you've seen. It's all... for the most part, they're recruiting, but in some areas there are maybe some unscrupulous practices, people that maybe their only option is in order to actually survive and to get that money is to join. But these practices seem a little bit more than what you're familiar with.
No, it's almost always voluntary, and again, it's always supposed to be voluntary, and some people don't have any other choice.
Do you think the Marquise herself would condone something like this?
This can't be the doing, unless there's some kind of danger we don't know about. And maybe there is, but perhaps it's a clearing specific.
Because we haven't seen that in the other cat clearings that
Do
we've
you
been
think
through.
that it could be because of what they said when we were at the bird's place? That they're worried that the area is going to take over too much, so they're recruiting younger because they don't have enough people?
It could be. It's hard to say. You know what? Let's look around. I'm sure there's probably a billboard with some kind of notice.
And as we're walking through town, I'm going to look for some kind of notice or something up.
You do that. You make your way through the town, and you see a large poster of a monstrous creature swooping down from the sky. Hideous, massive beak and huge talons, and the beak is almost like severed, like a monstrous mouth in this grotesque approximation of an eagle as it's swooping down, and it says, "The eerie menace draws near. Enlist today. It is your duty." And then you look around and you find a news bulletin, and it says those withholding their children older than 13 will be punished as by the decree of Viceroy Winkilda.
This is just appalling.
No, this wasn't the Marquise's doing. This must be the Viceroy.
Well, we've got to go and talk to her.
Nah, I don't know about that, Hazel. We don't want to be sticking our nose where it does not belong.
What? Did you see how scared he looked?
Yes, I saw it.
He was shaking.
I don't
His
know.
little ears were shaking and his little feetses were shaking.
This doesn't feel right. Maybe we could ask Nottingham. He might have some inside info if he knows her personally.
I think that's a better idea, but I certainly don't want to really... I have no desire to meet the Viceroy, especially if we're doing some sort of covert delivery. I don't want her to know what we look like.
What if we just... I don't know, I'm so mad. Why don't we just send like a anonymous letter saying you'd better stop this?
Or what?
Or else.
Well, I'm not sure that would work, but it's a fair point that Booker has. The whole reason we're going to go talk to the others is that they can't tie us back to the Marquise 8.
Oh, thank you, Stocking. Thank you so much. Thank you, Matt. You're the best.
Welcome,
We
welcome.
appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Matt. We're doing a first look at the Root RPG by our wonderful sponsor, Magpie Games. The party is wandering vagabonds of woodland critters. They're in the midst of a war, and even though they're cute little woodland critters, they're encountering basically forced conscription of teenage rabbit soldiers. So they're figuring out what to do with that, or as the war is raging on around them. And potentially dealing with some otter mercenaries.
I will. So I guess do we get the sense that like it would say by the order of the Marquisate if the Marquise herself, if this was more of a general law?
I would say it'd be difficult to tell. It kind of varies. You know that there's a whole lot of different jurisdictions that the cats have, and you know that you were working that Sheriff Beatrix was able to make certain rules and legislation that she was the sheriff.
Right.
So you know that a lot of different cats with a lot of different power, they're all kind of operating, and especially when there's war, communication back and forth cannot always be the most reliable.
Either way, I don't think there's a whole lot we can do right now. I think we just need to get a good night's sleep.
All right, I agree.
All right.
Well, it's not very satisfactory. Not for me. I implore you to think of the bunnies.
They're very cute.
No, he was just so young. He was too young.
I don't think there's anything that we can do.
You know, I felt that way many times when I've watched you steal food from people who had kids. And, you know, the elderly and probably people who were sick and all of these things that have happened, you know, and it's hard. Sometimes you just gotta walk away. Because, you know, it's for the best. Right?
I don't like this at all.
Let's wait to see what Nottingham says. And that's a good point. When you steal food from someone, you never know where that food was meant to go.
You know, and it's kind of like with Booker when he cons people out of their money. That's money that could have gone home. So, you know, feed the children.
It pays me
You
to
know,
think
and
about
things
Peggy.
like that, you know?
Do
And you
feel that?
haven't abandoned Booker? No, I don't. You don't give a shit. But she does. I'm trying to get her to understand, and we gotta move on.
My apologies. My apologies. Continue.
No, you're fine.
I only steal what I need when I'm hungry.
So, you know, when you've had one pie and 15 minutes later you steal an entire feast worth of food?
Yeah, well, in that particular instance, I was very hungry.
I know. And we all look the other way.
And they'd all already ate. It was just scraps.
Thank you, Thank you.
Really appreciate it. We're playing their first look at Root. They're in their Kickstarter right now. The Root RPG by our wonderful sponsors at Magpie Games. Our woodland critter vagabonds are in the midst of a war, and there's a lot of dark shit going on, and we'll see what happens.
A little bit of a moral quandary.
The party's in with a moral quandary right now about the realities of war.
And I think that's a good point. And I think you could all benefit from a copy of Peggy's Fables.
And I pull out like a bunch of
Grimm's fairy tales.
Peggy's Fables. This book Peggy's a published author, and she gave me a copy of her book.
Peggy, I didn't know that.
That's quite the accomplishment.
Yeah, neither did I.
Oh.
Have you been going through my journal? And I look through it and it's literally my journal entry.
It says Peggy's journal. Do not read. Yes, that means you, Grumley.
When did you take my journal?
Oh, I thought you mentioned something about like morals and stuff, so I figured, well, you must have published a book about fables or some kind.
This isn't even in the copy that I... Did you make an additional copy of my journal?
I photocopied it.
Have you given this to other people?
Well, no, not yet, until now. But
I look at his bag and there are like 6 copies in there.
What have you been doing?
I faxed a copy to Scabs.
no.
What was his name?
Scabs.
Scabs?
Oh, no.
Sneaks. His name was Sneaks. For the love of all that is the acorns, his name was Sneaks.
Why would his name be Snakes? He was a rat.
Sneaks. It's like he sneaks. He's not snakes. Sneaks.
He's like the snake.
He's a sneaky guy.
Are you sure he's not the cheat?
He might be, but he's
No, that would be
I
you.
was just going to call them knives.
More
so
accurate.
they're all them
Got 'em.
knives.
all right.
Other way.
I feel sufficiently bad for my actions, and I hope to return to this conversation forthwith.
That sounds right.
I'm going to get a drink.
I'll join
the bar.
I'll help you still see
In the
your food
honeycomb
later to
inn?
make
Is
up
that what
for
it's
it.
called?
Come in, lead the way.
All right.
We'll do it from
Maybe I
adults.
could try to cut back a little.
We'll just make sure we know where we're stealing it from.
Okay. That seems fair.
Okay.
To the inn.
To the inn. You head to the inn, and you see that the honeycomb inn is actually built in this very cute-looking structure that looks like a beehive. And it's carved in, and the shingles are all painted this gold honey color. And you see that the rows that head up to this are filled with all these buzzing hives, these bees, all dart around, and the denizens don't seem to be bothered by this. As you make your way through the door, and you see that there is a three-tiered inn inside, and you see that there is a mouse in these orange clothes shuffling around, and seems to be about a middle-aged male mouse walking around, and he looks at you and he says, "Oh, you must be the four that what the hell is his name?
Toboggan.
Nottingham, the Toboggan, the Mr. Toboggan said was going to be coming here.
Great, you've heard of us. Get me at least one bourbon.
He has a tab open. Should I put it on his tab? Did he say that was okay?
He did. That's absolutely what he said.
Booker, you've got to say please.
Please, sir.
Well, here's your room key.
Oh, thank you.
And he gives you your room keys and provides you with a whiskey.
And what's for supper?
Oh, what do you want?
Oh, what do you have?
Oh, we got anything you can ask for. If it's sweet and has honey, we basically have it.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited.
Oh, no.
And it's all on the tab.
Well, if you say so.
That's what Mr. Toboggan said.
Yes.
That's wonderful. I'll take a little bit of everything to share with the group.
And make sure the bourbon's handy.
We'll do.
I'll have some tea.
Shuffles off and provides you with a little bit of everything. It's a lot. It's a lot of everything.
Biscuits with honey.
Yes, there are biscuits with honey. With the tea, there's crumpets. Delightful crumpets.
I'm having
I
a
love
few
crumpets.
crumpets.
There's some delightful little tea sandwiches, which you didn't get from the fucking pigeon, but you finally got from this mouse.
Asshole. God. That wasn't a very good butlering.
I felt that really bad.
You got butlered thoroughly. Hey, what are you doing?
We'll just eat and wait for old Toboggan to find us. We'll enjoy the evening, and unless there's anything else anybody wants to do.
Nothing in particular.
I'm just gonna keep on eating.
Okay. So you do that, and you wait the evening, and it seemed as if the night passes, and he does not get back to you. As you are all settling into your rooms, unless there's anything else you'd like to do, you sleep peacefully in the beds that is not nest shaped, and standard little quaint beds. As you awaken, each room is kind of a cute little bee themed room. There's a little wooden bee carvings, and you awaken in the morning, and as soon as you make your way downstairs, you see Toboggan pulling out his pocket watch. He's looking around anxiously, kind of tapping on his pocket watch, and he puts it back in. And as soon as you all begin making your way down the stairs, he looks at you and says, "Oh well, goodness, I thought you might be hungover."
Oh, no, of course not.
Just moving a little slow because we
You said that a little bit intensely, friend.
No, I just,
You're not trying to pull one over on me, are you?
why would I ever try to do that?
You're awfully concerned about whether we drink or not. Is this some thing you have?
It's a thing I have when you've been working with that sneaks as much as I have.
I told you his name was Sneaks.
Could have sworn it was snakes.
He is a snake as far as I'm concerned.
I thought he was a rat.
He is a rat.
He's a rat named Snake.
What did the viceroy
Snake
say?
King.
Oh, when I told her that it won't be able to be traced back to her.
And he takes you back to his workshop and locks the door, and he says,
She was very pleased and said she will pay handsomely if you do this for her, and it will put her in good standing with the Marquise herself. If she is the one that empowers the mercenaries to cut the throats of all the bird menace.
And that's great, and so I had this idea, right, is that we're going to get gold for this, but that you're also going to stop recruiting children to do your dirty work in town, because if we do this, then you don't really need the children fighting in your military, right? So we would get that confirmation.
I'm not recruiting.
I know, but she's allowing it, so I'm saying she would stop allowing it, right? And we would see that before we go. I mean, obviously, because we know that she's so kind and good, she would never keep recruiting children if she didn't need to, right?
Well, I suppose I could ask her. I mean, that's quite an ask. There's dire times. The eerie menace is right around the corner.
And we're going out there and risking our lives to save this entire place and to help turn the tides of battle for the Marquis. It seems like the perfect time to allow children to grow up and make sure that we have a huge amount of people to support the Marquis going forward. You don't want children dying at war.
Well, would it make any difference? Would it change your mind and help you sleep at night if I said the Viceroy says that sacrifices must be made in times of war?
For a second, it did. But it doesn't anymore.
There's war all over the Dimwood. There's danger everywhere, and every other clearing, it's all voluntary recruitment.
That's exactly right.
From the Marquise herself. Well, what makes this clearing any different? Besides, as of yesterday, or 2 days ago, or 3 days ago, or however long it was, the clearing down south happened to be taken by the Erie.
Well, what makes it different is the fact that the Viceroy has the highest recruitment numbers in all of the Dimwood.
Now, because she's forcing people.
I don't care. I want to make that very clear. But what good is a kid going to be to an army? Let's be realistic here. I'm not a kid, and I can barely swing a sword as it is. You think some scrawny rabbit child is going to be able to kill some bird people?
Not that we know of rabbit children that have been recruited or anything. That was just something we were thinking of communally.
I'm pretty sure it's a rabbit clearing, is it not?
That's true. And I think that if the Viceroy were to use her child army, she'd be awfully embarrassed if they all just got wiped off the map because they were unprepared and also children.
Yeah,
Wouldn't that be embarrassing?
Think about this, if the Erie came in and said, we wouldn't send your children off to war, all of those parents, those adults, those able-bodied men and women could turn the tide so quickly if they knew it would save the life of the kids. That's a horrible thing to think about.
I would say make me persuade an NPC roll.
That's freaking charm, isn't it? 8.
8. So, on a 7 to 9, they aren't sure. The GM will tell you. He seems to be very. He seems to be close. As the thing that is probably seeming to that would persuade him the most would be leveraging the fact that you're pretty much the only ones, now that he has no idea where the rat is, that can actually make this connection, because anything else could be probably easily traced back to the Marquis 8 and potentially get captured. So that is what you discern from that. That's what Peggy discerns from that, yeah.
Yeah, it would be really horrible if the fact that this town, this clearing was sitting so, it was just so unsettling to us that we felt like we couldn't go off and do this thing for you if we just changed our minds.
Oh, yes.
That would be really horrible.
It's very hard to do a job
I just
when you're
don't
morally compromised.
I don't think I could. I just don't know if I could rightfully, assist when I know that poor rabbit children are being taken off to war.
Well, now, take it easy. If all you're asking is for just to once we take the clearing, we can stop recruiting kids.
Well, and you give us the gold still, obviously, yeah. You get the gold, but then you stop recruiting kids.
I think, just how I'm feeling, it should stop now so that we can really focus on our task.
Yeah, if we messed up because we was thinking about those kids, that would be horrible.
It would be terrible if just in a moment of confusion we shouted out, "Oh, curse you, Viceroy!" in the middle of our task and just revealed her completely.
I'm very likely to accidentally do that, so it's a big risk.
Yes. That is, it's a big risk. So long as we're not focused. If we're focused, we're just, just as good as we can be. But I feel, we all feel, pretty disturbed right now from what we've seen.
Well, I never knew vagabonds to be moral individuals.
We're not.
Yes.
I said let's make it clear we don't care. We're just making some points. That's all.
Oh, okay, well, when you put it like that, I suppose I don't really have a choice.
I suppose not.
I'll go talk to the Viceroy, and I'm sure she'll be amenable when I raise the same points to her.
So we should just wait right here for you.
I'll make it quick. You may want to make yourselves comfortable. I have some tea on the stove.
That sounds lovely. And then if you come back with the good news, we can head out pretty much immediately, unless there's anything else that we need to do here.
We just need it in writing, please.
I think that once we kind of know what's going on, we can get straight down to business.
Agreed?
I would like to get my chainmail fixed up a little bit. I wish we had your workshop.
Yeah, if we're going to the place that we're going, Wallow, then my shop's there.
Maybe
Oh, we could
make
go
a
in.
pit stop.
We're going away. It's a great idea.
Well, I have an idea of how to get us down. If we need to make a pit stop in Wallow, I think we may be able to swing it.
All right.
I'll be right back.
And he leaves. You have 2 hours to do whatever you will. You sit and you enjoy your tea. Those 2 hours pass. He returns, and he looks very pale, as much as a beaver with all that fur can, as he's kind of shaking. And he says,
Well, she wasn't happy, but I promised her that she'd be responsible for two clearings being taken over for the Magpie Games. So we have a deal.
And
All right.
the writing that it is in?
Here it is.
and you see this gaudy scroll of that same sickly green seal on it, and it has in very overly flowery language. It almost kind of has a little rhyming cadence to it that I won't repeat here. But basically, that says that there will be temporarily underlined a pause on children recruitment for 2 weeks. But if the deal is made with the Riverfolk Company and Wallow and Muck Creek are taken back for the Marquis 8, then it will be maintained throughout the clearing. And that you have the word of Viceroy Winkilda.
All right, well.
That's good enough for me, I guess.
So how are we getting down south?
That's right.
Well, I figured we can sneak you onto a shipment of supplies.
And we can make a pit stop by Peggy's workshop.
Well, I think that should be able to be the case. There may be some otter road agents that come and sneak you up once you get there, once you're ready to go, and deliver you back to their headquarters. Well, no, they're actually the headquarters, but road agents will come and capture you for the Erie.
Oh, no.
That sounds terrible. And awful scary.
So we should just let them do it and not kill them.
Yes, and I just need to know where this workshop is, and I won't tell, the road agents may find you. River agents.
Oh, that's really great because it's pretty accessible to everybody.
Wonderful.
He's a map.
You draw a map and you show him where it is, and he says,
Well, I have a barge ready to go for you.
Actually, I lied. It's actually not accessible to everyone. It's really difficult to reach, actually, but it's pretty poorly defended, so I think that'll be easy for them to, once they get there, it's difficult to get there, but once they get there, it will be really easy to capture.
Well, I'm sure they'll be very effective river agents.
And he comes, dabs some sweat off. It's like,
She's going to kill me. The Viceroy's going to kill me. This is my only chance. Okay. And
You look so nervous. Do you want some tea?
I think I would. Thank you. No, this is my tea. Of course, I'll have some of my own tea.
I basically have just been like filling a cup with honey and then pouring enough hot tea to make it kind of liquidy.
It's just dissolved the honey.
it is the sweetest thing you ever tasted, and you once ate a heaping bowl of sugar.
It's the greatest quote from that show. It's
great.
The greatest quote.
And so he goes around back, and you see that that there is a barge, and there is a single person on top of it, and you see that it's another beaver, and he waves at him. He's like, "Well, Terrence, make sure that this shipment gets here, and make sure you don't run into any river agents."
I thought they were road agents.
Well, they are road agents colloquially, but they'll be on the river, so get underneath all of the shit.
I get under the ship.
And so you see that there are crates and rows of like supplies and things that would be a great shipment. And once you are all tucked away underneath it, you see the light gets all darkened by a large tarp that is pulled over you as he pushes you off, and he says, "Well, good luck, and make sure you don't mention who sent you." As the barge pulls away, and you are guided down the river. Do you want to pull up the map, Rich?
Oh yeah, let's do it. Ooh, the map, it's the map.
You are guided down the river by the beaver named Terrence. As
Is that his full name?
Terrence, just Terrence. You remember that the same big patches of rapids where you had come with Benny and with Old Man Creeb. As you make your way down, and you hear the familiar croaking of Wartwallow as you approach. As you hear the splashing of water. However, that same familiar positive singing of the toads and the bullfrogs is a lot more reserved, as you hear the flapping of wings in a much more increased regimented pattern. You imagine that there's a large number of birds flying over you as the barge makes it a stop, and it kind of bumps up a little bit as you're jolted. And as you peek out from beneath the tarp, you see the thick green of the lily pad. And you see up ahead, and it's Peggy's workshop, as Terrence peeks under and pulls the tarp out and says,
Well, here we are. Now, probably have the evening, I think. River agents going to be coming in the morning, so you got to get back under there by about 8 a.m. tomorrow.
Understood.
All right. Thank you.
I'm getting out of here. And he leaps and dives into the river and swims back up as he ducks. And as you make your way from the barge quickly into the workshop that seems to have been totally undisturbed, far enough away from the lake, it seems to have survived the battle and not even suffered any damage. As you look around, that there's no damage to the actual town, that there's driftwood floating all around, wreckages of barges from the great battle that you had escaped from. However, Wardwallow, as you look over into the clearing, seems to be as it was, but rather than just the heavy presence of Marquis 8 soldiers, of cats, and of goony battle toads, you see the soaring, flying birds of prey, the hawks, the ospreys, and a number of other bird soldiers that aren't necessarily, that would have just been denizens that have joined the cause, as well as you see that there's a number of mice wearing that familiar eerie blue, as well as some frogs that have switched sides as soon as they ruled the clearing, and it seems to be meet the new boss same as the old boss, at least from what you can see through as you peek through the windows of this workshop. And you are now at Peggy's workshop. You hear the spinning of machinery as the door closes behind you.
Things are looking pretty rough out there.
I'm glad that they didn't find this workshop.
I know, it's really pretty amazing.
Thank goodness.
You know, it's difficult to reach.
That's true, but it's so poorly defended.
Well, part of its
Seems like
defense
an
is the
easy
fact that it's difficult to reach.
To be fair, it's not exactly like, a warrior stronghold. She's doing work here.
I had a couple of choices, right? It could have been poorly defended and known and accessible to many, and that didn't seem like a good idea.
That's even worse.
Oh, that's on your thing.
I mean, this isn't some.
So I chose one good.
This is about function.
I thought that was just your own flavoring.
You're doing work here. You're not defending. You're fine. This is lovely.
Well, you know what they say about a good defense. A good defense is being inaccessible.
What?
It's not unacceptable.
Inaccessible to most.
Probably I was saving this for your birthday. Well, I got
Thank you,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You got me a dictionary.
Yeah,
Oh.
I just find that you might find it useful.
I think, you would have had more success if you'd gotten him a Pictionary. I don't think he can read.
That's savage.
There are no pictures in this thing? I thought you said Pictionary.
There's a couple here and there, but they're black and white and pretty big, boring.
Oh, well, how do you read this?
I'll read it to you sometime.
Oh, thank you.
It'll be great.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
He's going to hate every
And you
moment
can
of
read
that.
Yeah,
these
probably.
Peggy's Fables.
Oh, I could. Like that, about how you steal food all the time. That's really what it was all about. She just talks about how horrible it is that you steal from these poor defenseless people.
I'm a frog.
I was just gonna say it. You just call him Piggy.
Can we have like a one shot where it's Piggy Booger?
Grumbly.
Or we just go Gumby if you want.
I like grumbly.
Gumby.
No, grubbly. That's
Grumbly.
Grumbly.
I have it written down.
Grumbly.
Grumbly. Oh, I wrote it grumbly. But it's
I got a
piggy.
We
That
just
was
be
almost New
clump.
Zealand.
No! I don't want to be clump.
Too bad you're clump now.
No!
Oh. Yeah, I use my repair ability and repair the equipment.
Thank you.
Oh, literally the best thing in the game.
You repair, you resupply. I believe that's a feature as well.
Yeah, we get fish and stuff.
So we clear our main decay track. How does supply work? Do you pick that, right? Did you pick supplies?
I have.
Oh, I believe I think I
There
said.
is no supplies on here.
I think I said that you can each clear 2 harm of whatever it would be of your choice, and so it could take the form of food for exhaustion, of supplies for decay, or for med kits for injury. For whatever you.
Well, I do have
The food and water, right?
Food and water.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so
I think that's
that'll-
how we decided.
That'll be how. Yeah, the food and water is basically.
I'm fucking
yeah,
good.
you rip up the fish and you patch it into your wounds.
I've removed 1 decay. Fit as a fiddle.
Well, thank you for patching up the armor, Peggy.
Anytime. That's what my workshop's here for. That's why it's difficult to reach but poorly defended.
No, I'm glad all of these poor defenses.
Wait, so poorly defended is it doesn't have defenses, or it has lots of defenses that are really poor?
They're like my malfunctioning traps that don't work, or I didn't set them right, or I forgot to set them.
There is a mouse trap, and you think that a mouse in the woodland would be like a big trap. No,
But it's
a
like
little
a
mouse
tiny mouse trap.
A trap to scare people away, like just a wooden plank pops up as a bear holding a shark.
It's like I've got this thing where if you walk through the door, it's supposed to fall down on you, but it falls the other way.
One of those plastic owls from the Home Depot.
To scare like the hawks.
To
scare all the hawks or whatever.
Scare all the Erie. Like literally went
Yeah.
to the Home Depot.
I look up,
Sand.
no wonder the Erie would never find this place.
Yeah, I have those like the bird wires so that things don't rest on your house and like crap on the eaves, but I put them on upside down. So they actually make like a perfect bird.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it is the most poorly defended, but it's not known by many. So it just looks like kind of a shack on a lily pad. There's no reason why the Erie would take it over.
Well, I'm feeling as well as I can. Should we just get some sleep?
As long as we're up early enough tomorrow, then yeah. Yeah, that sounds good.
All right, well, thank you again, Peggy, for letting us stay in your workshop as always.
Oh, no, you can't sleep in here.
Oh, should we
I'm
sleep?
kidding. I sleep literally every time.
Are there beds in the workshop? Like,
Yeah, my bed.
Okay, so we're
This is
like,
like your house.
Well, they're
right?
like hammocks. That's why I said last time is you each had like a hammock that you could sleep in.
That's great.
Well, good night.
No,
We gotta get up early. We can't sleep in.
Yep.
You go to bed.
Okay. You go to bed and you awake in the morning, and the barge of supplies is waiting for you. As it's the sun has just risen. You wake up nice and early. You're feeling refreshed, having resupplied at Peggy's workshop. What do you do?
We jump into the barge.
Yeah, I'm gonna
right?
climb back
and
in.
Climb back in and just stay undercover.
Wait to be
Thefted.
thefted, absconded with.
Absconded.
You dive beneath it. You tie the tarp down, and you wait. And you wait probably for about an hour, and then you hear the disturbing of water. It sounds like there is rowing. As you then hear the sound of footsteps on the wooden plank of
It's
this
so nice
barge.
that it's really quiet this morning.
And you hear it's like,
right.
"Hey, we're claiming this in the name of the Erie, right?"
Oh no, we never saw you coming.
It's terrible.
They're not supposed to know we're here. You guys aren't supposed to know we're here, right?
Well, this is just going great.
Oh no, I hit my head on
You
the.
hear, hey, you over there! Shut up! Shut up!
There's nobody down here.
There's nobody here at all.
Right.
There's nobody here but
Hey,
us
you.
fish. Blah blah blah.
Hey, and you hear a voice like, "Can we get on with this fucking heist?" And he's like, "Shut up, Benny!" As you hear the pattering of footsteps,
Oh no!
as you hear like, "Oh wow, I'm sorry, Vinny, you're so unhinged."
Oh my god.
Just drive the fucking boat, Vinny.
And then you hear a female voice call out as a third footsteps, as you see 3 pairs of otter feet, as you hear a feminine voice like, "Well, both of you shut up, we gotta claim this for the Erie." It's like, "Okay, Rhonda," as
Next honey heist is with fucking otters.
Yes. Oh,
clam heist.
clam heist.
Clam heist.
Incredible.
Oh, so good.
as the barge shoves off, and you hear the chatter, and he says, "Well, you know, Benny, I'm surprised that the Erie didn't take it." And Benny's like, "Well, it's probably because it wasn't known by many. It seemed poorly defended, though. We took it pretty easily." You sail across the lake, and you hear that they get to a variety of checkpoints as they're leaving the clearing. You hear the flapping of wings and the splintering of wood as talons sink into the ship as there's a tense bit of back and forth between this osprey, a heavily armored osprey you can see, as and Rhonda. But Rhonda manages to like give him a little bit of a wink and a flirt, and then he blushes a little bit and flies off. And as
Shame she's so used up.
Rhonda, don't talk to yourself like that. It's washed up. You're washed up.
The osprey doesn't know that, frankly.
Do we want to spend the rest of the session playing the otters?
Look, I'm just saying.
I don't know. And these were our Honey Heist characters from over a year ago.
And you hear Ron say, "Well, Vinny, I'm glad that you're piloting the boat. You are the best riverboat driver that we have."
Proficient in vehicles.
And he's like, "Yeah, I had to borrow it from my ma." As,
my mother's Ford Windstar.
And so there's back and forth of the otters.
Ford Wavestar.
Wavestar.
That's how I learned. And so they're chattering back and forth, and they cross various checkpoints as various Erie soldiers are checking in, and they're occasionally poking around, but you're all kind of ducking back as the otters are, "Oh no, you're paying us very well. We're the mercenaries, very trustworthy mercenaries."
This is such a disaster.
Benny, shut up! And the otters, the barge eventually makes its way through, and then as the lake. You're finishing crossing the lake. Booker, you start to smell a familiar stench of the muck bed creek
sorry,
of low
I
tide.
had a late lunch.
Oh no!
It smells like home.
Yes.
As you kind of smell the low tide, as the stench of the large fishing docks. And clamming docks and oyster catching docks get nearer and nearer as you know that Muckbed Creek is the largest source of fish and other aquatic food for the entire Dimwood. Beyond some few things inside of at Drakesmith for the ocean fish, as you wind your way through the river, it feels like it. Every single bend is very tight as you see up ahead that there are long planks and canals almost made by almost like by entire streets made of stilted wooden walkways and boardwalks as you see these large sprawling buildings built up on top of each other, all made out of wood haphazardly, with no real care or attention, but incredibly expansive. As you hear the loud roaring and cheering within numerous bars, gambling halls, places of ill repute and carnal delight. As you make your way through, and you eventually see up ahead of you the nicest building in this entire place. It is built multiple tiers, and you see the Riverfolk Company written on it, and on the large sign. As you eventually glide through the water, and the shade of, I guess, a boat port covers you, and the boat stops as it hits the side of the wood. You hear the loud creaking of the barge as silence, and you hear a voice call out, "Okay, come on out, honeys. The coast is clear." And the tarp flies off. And as you're pulled out, you see three otters. The one seems to be
a little unhinged. The other one seems to be a little washed up.
And one of them's a 400-pound hack.
The other one is quite large. And there's Cheeto. There's like orange dust all over his paws. And he's like, Benny, I told you not to snack while we're on the job. Like, oh, I'm sorry. And they're bickering back and forth, and you see the 400 hacker known as a bear champ steps forward and says,
Well, the boss said he wants to see you. That you know the bargain. You know the bargain, and look, and Vinny, go find it. And you see Vinny scamper up, and he's angry. Why do I always have to be in doing this? This is ridiculous. As he roots through, and he pulls out a wooden box that seems to be just like any other of the tool boxes. However, there's a special, subtle design that seems to be in the shape of a clam on it, and he pulls it out, and he hops off of this large pile of crates and barrels and rows of equipment, and he says, "Well, let's go." And you make your way out of this enclosed. What do you call that? Like the where the boat is, shed? Like a boathouse, like a boat shed? Yeah, thank you. The boat shed, and there's a walkway that goes up, and you see just planks and planks, rows and rows of boardwalks all around you as Muckbed Creek rises up and sprawls out through the swampy area, and you make your way not very far outside. As you see, however, that you see the kind of rough and tumble critters. As what clearing is this? Can you remind me of what the name?
I will take a look.
I believe it was a fox clearing.
Oh.
So you see a couple of rough.
We're gonna put ourselves there.
Oh, sorry. Oh.
What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing?
We're here now. There we go.
Come on, Benny.
You see a number of rough-looking foxes as they all keep in their. They're talking to each other, and then they turn and they look as they see all three of the otters and yourselves walking through, and they're kind of glaring. And you see Benny wave his hand. Oh, hey, Kevin! And then you see you see Benny elbow him. Shut up! As you gotta intimidate the vagabonds. Oh, sorry. As they make their way through, and you see that you see the kind of rough and tumble denizens of this clearing. However, there's an orderliness to it now, and a lot more of a hushness of all of the denizens going around than you start to see in the trees. Where there had been, you're familiar with, just, the usual housing for the local songbirds and swampbirds and shorebirds. There are a great number of Erie soldiers, but it seems as if the concentration in this clearing is far less than in Warwall, as if they sent a majority of their forces north, and we're not expecting any kind of disturbance here. You are led into a huge warehouse on the first floor of this Riverfolk company. A great variety of items and trinkets and things in the storehouse, and there's a huge storefront out front with a long line of denizens waiting to trade with the Riverfolk company. You see them having not just bags of coins, but also like trays of clams and buckets. As you see a number of otters collecting, and they're handing out things to all the denizens. And as you make your way up, you see that there is an armory. I think weapons. There are barracks for the mercenaries of this company, and you see that there are rows and rows and rows of these sheds and docks just completely filled with riverboats all around, sprawling out around this headquarters. And you eventually make your way to the top, and you see Rhonda. The female otter says, like, well, he says he wants to see you alone because he said that we're going to mess everything up if we go in. So here's the box. And she grabs it from Vinny. Here you go. And she opens the door and almost like shoves you in, all four of you. you and closes the door hard, slams hard behind you, and it echoes into this room. And you see that there is an office that is nice, not nearly as nice as Levi Smiles, but you see an old otter.
How long have you been waiting to do this?
I've been waiting for it since I got on the boat.
I'm almost concerned that we are doing this just because of Mike wanting to play Gino. This entire campaign revolved around one clearing, and this is it.
I think you might be right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no idea what's about to happen.
You see that that's a little bit chilly. It's a little chilly in here, as there's a large shelf with a variety of like strange gold trophies, a lot of clams, and prizes almost all stacked up in one cabinet. There's one wall that has just picture after picture after picture of the same otter of varying ages, but with different family members. It seems people that are related, and you see that. The source of this chill, there's a large ice box in it, and there are hanging from hooks are large sides of meat and fish. And you see that there's a large desk, and behind is a very old otter who has just these jowls, and the jowls that these long whiskers are connected to. He has his little grubby fingers with webbing in between them, and he leans forward, and he's kind of almost busting out of his suit, and you see that there's a sandwich on his desk. It's like almost half eaten. There's like a little bit, like a quarter left of the sandwich, and there's crumbs all over this desk. And he leans forward, and then he says, "So, you're the vagabonds, huh?"
Some people call us that, I suppose.
Who sent you?
Mr. O'Donnell. My name is Grumley, and I am. We have been sent by. What's his name? We've been sent
Mr.
by
Toboggan.
Nottingham Toboggan.
And I pass him. Did we get a letter for him?
There's a box that you have.
Okay, a box. I give him the box.
Well, I guess old Noddy made good on his word, huh? Let's see what he has for me.
He places it on his desk.
You know, there are a lot of rough people here in this clearing. And, you know, I don't really care whether it's the Erie or the Magpie Games that what ruled this place and what threatened murder of all of my mercenaries. But I rarely see vagabonds, although you would expect a place like this to have many vagabonds. There aren't that many. You know, I read once, not in the document, I read once in a document that the number of vagabonds that live for more than 3 months as a vagabond is very low. And I hear you've been around for a long time.
We have. We're very tough and very capable. And Booker here is from this clearing.
Yes, I am.
Oh, wait a minute. Do I know you?
I don't know how you possibly could, but my name is Booker.
Oh, Booker.
I mean, maybe you've seen me. Look, I'm a nobody.
I've met a good number of fine-looking raccoon gentlemen.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I lived here for a while. I knew some of the others, but I was just kind of a wandering person.
Did you get in the way of any of my others?
I wouldn't say got in the way of. I mean, played some games with, had some good drinking times, told some good stories, and that was about it.
He knows lots of otters. Tell him you about all those otters you know. You've told us so much about otters.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're all just good, hard-working people. They're all just trying to make their way in the world just like all of us.
Well, I appreciate the kind words for me and my company.
Of course.
And my ottery kin. I take family very seriously. Do you know what? I think of vagabonds, so you probably don't care about family at all. It's almost disgusting.
Oh, that's not true at all. I love my family. Don't you guys love your families?
Oh, yes, of course, absolutely. Yes, I do.
And you know, speaking of families, Booker, how do you spell raccoon? Is it with one C or two?
Well, you're really putting me on the spot here. I mean, I know.
Piece of shit.
I know how to read, but
Oh, I don't know how to read, so I'll just assume 1C. Why would you need that second one?
You think that? But here, if you look in the dictionary I gave you,
Oh,
there are 2 acceptable spellings.
oh, you're right. There are 2 if you look at this Merriam-Webster's dictionary.
You know, I really wanted looking to answer that question.
to be fair, though, while the book may tell you that there's 2 acceptable answers, it's almost as if the entire general public would just call you an idiot.
That's true.
Well,
I mean, technically correct, but
when I was on the 10,000 clam pyramid, I actually won the grand prize with that spelling knowledge. It's with 2 C's more colloquially. Anyway, let's see what you have for me.
2 peas in a pod.
2 C's in the raccoon.
Just the same.
And he slides it open, and as he looks, and you see him pull out a huge satchel of coins.
Okay. That I like the look of that. It's not clams, but I'll take it.
I want to lean over to Booker.
So are clams the same thing as coins in this clearing?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a literal sense, and then there's also a metaphorical sense of the one being nourishment and the other being money and trade, but the clams are worth as much as the money. You see where I'm going with this?
So they kind of like treat it almost like their own coin.
Yeah, I mean, back and forth, one or the other, it's all the same.
How do you know if someone says that they need some clams or they want some clams? How do you know if they mean money or clams?
It all depends on who you're talking to.
Okay, maybe you could use it in a
It's more of the context clues.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you.
You can call me Gene.
Okay.
Oh, well, let's look and see.
While you're just reviewing, do you mind if we just have a quick aside?
Hold on. Oh, yeah, would you like a clam strip Ruben while you wait? As he pulls on these small
That sounds nice. Let me just talk to my friends. Real quick,
I'll just grab it.
I vote we use the weapon skill murder on Gino.
What do you mean?
I mean, I'm just thinking about it. That's all I'm saying. That's what I vote.
Are you seriously considering
No, I'm breaking the fourth wall. This is not happening at all. This is a meta conversation. I just couldn't pass up the opportunity.
So, you see him put on these glasses on his flabby jowls, and the long whiskers are actually extending past the document that he's reading.
Well, that is the bargain handwriting. That'll be right. Oh, that's a lot. Oh.
Okay. He pulls out a sigil, and it seems to be an official decree. And there's a personal house sigil on it, and it seems to be a broom, a symbol of a broom with some designs, like maybe a cooking pot as well on it. And takes it and puts it aside.
Well, this does look very official. Okay.
And he takes it all and he places it down, and he closes it back up.
So, Toboggan's an okay friend of mine. We go way back. We did a few. I started out and I'm heisting clams with that old fool, and I feel like I can trust him. But what I don't know if I can trust is this cat, Viceroy. Why didn't I get the full Roy? Why don't I get a Viceroy?
Oh, I think I follow.
Doesn't Vice mean double? So didn't you get the double Roy?
Double Roy.
I'm a
This one
mess.
killed them. No, I don't think I am an open-minded otter. But cats, I'm not. I'm not sure I can trust this Win Kilda. She's got a creepy broom and a cooking pot as essential. That does not seem trustworthy. But what I do believe is trustworthy are vagabonds. Do you know why?
I couldn't even begin to guess.
Because we're not so different, you and I. I know that sounds like a cliche. But you, like me, are selfish.
Well, yeah.
And when I'm dealing with people that are selfish, hold on, I need to... Oh, there's a moth in my... Hold on. He pulls out a broom and he's swatting at the thing.
That's a moth. That was really loud.
There's a moth?
I think there's a large moth, and maybe there's a bird in here. Anyway.
That was loud as fuck.
Anyway.
Did it not come from the restroom? I thought it sounded like something fell over.
I think there's something flying around here.
Does it
That
keep
big
hitting
ass
the
fly. We've had a fly.
And
I don't think a fly is...
Apologies
No,
for the
it's a
interruption.
big
It sounded to me like a can fell over.
Yeah, it sounded to me like something like metal was like hitting something. Or something was hitting metal.
Can you make sure there's no demons in the bathroom, Rich?
Yeah.
I'm scared.
You guys might get to watch Rich get eaten alive by a real
All of
demon!
us getting moved by
So why did all of a sudden it stop once you got out?
I saw a shadow moving around here.
Oh,
I
it's
think
a demon.
like-
So it is a demon.
It's a demon.
Well, you know, I thought
It's
in a
because you
document
said
once-
something about someone whose sigil was a broom and a pot.
Yeah.
Well,
On the equinox, the autumnal equinox.
Why? Why, Mike?
I when I do this is actually an incantation voice. This is all you're all being sacrificed to Baphomet. You know, I met a guy. I saw in a document once that those that fraternize with bath and meth, they usually end up dead. Anyways, I trust you all to follow your own self-interest, just like I do. That I can trust. Then you always can count on someone. But if there's a cat that is craving for power, they're trying to serve some lady in a castle and by Felicia, whatever it's called. I've been around a long time. The point is, I want to know what you think.
What do we think about what? About the
Should I-
viceroy herself?
Should I? So let's put it this way: if I give Vinny, Benny, and Rhonda, my very trusted lieutenants, the word,
Oh, dear gods.
they're very trustworthy, a lot more than they look. If I give them the word to turn all their blades and as well as all my mercenaries against the Erie, and we take over Muckbed Creek, and then we make our way and take over Wardwallow for these cats, and we let them march in, thanks to this very hefty payment that I'm being promised. That'll line my pockets with coin, with clams, and with very delicious sandwiches. But it'll make great enemies of the Erie. There may be assassins around every corner, and I'm there to consider myself taking a lot of precautions. I let 4 strangers into my personal sanctum without any guards.
Speaking of Moira,
Here we are.
And you're all on. This is fun. But I just know you would never make it out alive. The point is, I don't know whether I can trust. What if then all of a sudden I let all of these cats march in? The wood is really my clearing. Enter the frog town up north.
You know it's got a name. It's not just called Frogtown.
Oh, is it not called frog town?
No, it's called Wotwallow.
Oh, okay. I don't get out very much. I've always been calling it frog town. I mean, is that offensive to say it like that?
Well, I'm not offended, but some people might be.
I'm trying to be more considerate. I apologize.
Yeah, here's a document about it.
Oh.
I actually gave him a document
You
about
know what?
Wotwallow.
I'm going to take a look at a document on Wardwallow. I'll learn a lot about that. Anyway,
That's gonna be a gold piece.
that's gold
I'm
gold
kidding
piece.
with you.
Okay, thanks. Pro bono. There we go. Anyways,
No, it's a document.
I feel like... Did I even get your names?
what?
You
No.
vagabond.
I introduced myself as Grumley.
Grumley.
And I'm Booker.
Grumbly. Okay, books.
Booker.
Books. I like books. What are you?
Peggy.
Peggy.
You can call me Froggy if you want
Frog,
to. I
okay.
knew you were gonna do
Frog
it
Town?
anyway.
You're Frog Town.
I thought about just
Town.
introducing myself as Froggy, but I
Frog Town,
couldn't bring
Brooks,
myself to do it.
Grubbly. How about you?
Hazel.
Oh, I called him that once.
Hey, Hazel. What if your name was Donut? So every time everyone said, "Hey, Donut,"
Actually, it's funny that you say that. That is my full name.
no way, I'm calling you Donut. Congratulations. Hey, Donut. What do you think? What do you think about this cat?
Zonut. That's a good one. That's better than anything I've ever called it. Zonut. This is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Zonut. I guess it's...
Hey, Donut. What do you think? What do you think about this cat? What threatens potentially my whole clearing? Will
Tell
she
us,
stab me in the
Zonut.
back?
Tell us everything you're thinking, Zonut.
Why don't you go first, bugger?
That wasn't what he called me.
I forgot what he called you because I got so mad just now.
Answer the man's question, Zonut.
As an aside, quickly, though I'm sure he can hear me, can I
Thank
speak
you.
openly?
I think it's best you do.
I think you should throw her just right under the boat. I don't like
Which
little.
boat?
I don't know, pick one.
Oh, that's a lot of power.
It's a phrase.
Oh.
I think that she's pretty bad. So if you can pin it on her, and then it's a win-win. Everybody loves a
She's the
win-win.
one that's offering to pay me, though.
You're still suggesting that the Marquis 8 gains control of these clearings, then, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But we just replace the Viceroy.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Well,
Just so I understand what you're saying.
First, of course.
you will
But-
get your payment as promised.
Never think that it's gone off without a hitch, and then at the last moment you can say, spread some rumors. Or your crew could, because they are awful loud.
So, are you all suggesting that I take this woman's money, and then once I paid and I backstab the Erie, which had paid me very handsomely, by the way, take her money, and when she arrives, I backstab her?
Yeah, it's like a double backstab.
I mean, it's just one option. We're just spitballing.
Now, I don't think. Look, I just think you need to know that this would be the Marquise herself would think very highly of you if you were to do this.
That's
In,
right.
my experience so far is she seems like a woman of her word. So, I think that doing it's a good idea. Yeah, that's the word from Frogtown.
That's the word from Frogtown. Well, I know that Frogtown they spread a little thin.
And you got to think that the Marquis 8, they are all about industry and trade and wealth. And the Erie, they have a disdain for trade. They just pay you because they want to dominate the whole woodland. But as soon as they do, why would they continue to pay you?
That's a very good question. I like to consider myself an open-minded person, but birds and eagles.
Thank you.
There was only one.
Okay. You all make good points.
Well, at the end of the day, the way I feel about it is I don't really care for either of them. Look, you said it yourself. You basically own this clearing. It's all a matter of the illusion of whoever's living here at the time. But you're making all the money. Isn't that really, at the end of the day, what matters?
Persuaded and considered.
If I could ever just get one good roll, this would be the one that I would like it for it to be. Haha! That is going to be a 10.
A 10, exactly. He sits
Take
for
the
a
hot way.
moment, and he looks from all of you. Grubbly, Colts,
Yeah, okay.
Froggy, Hazelnut. I think you all drive a very potent point home. And I think this could be the beginning of a very pleasant relationship. And I think, even that I don't necessarily trust this one Viceroy. I would have preferred the full Roy. But I think I've made up my mind.
And he slides the box aside. And he calls out, hey, Vinny! And is like, yeah, what the fuck, boss? He's like, you kiss your mother with that mouth, Vinny? And he's like, I kiss your...
Not this time.
I kiss your mother with that mouth. He can't hear it, but you can. He got his mother's off to the side, I kiss your mother with that mouth. Yeah, boss. There's a thing we talked about earlier. The thing that the beaver guy suggested. With Tom Boggin, I don't know. We go way back. You hear hesitation, and he's like,
Rich, nobody makes a Rich laugh quite like Mighty does.
and he's like, yeah, okay, boss. And the door closes. And you hear the shuffling of feet outside, and you see Gene stand up as he looks at all of you and says, well, would you care to pull up some chairs and enjoy my wonderful view? And
That would be lovely. Thank you.
Here, enjoy a nice clam strip Reuben.
Oh, this is fantastic.
Here, you all think, as my business associate, it is customary for me to make a sandwich for everyone that I do business with.
Oh, that is too kind.
And
Fred.
so
Custom.
he goes around and he actually, there's a little closet, a broom closet, and there's a number of chairs. And you see that behind his desk, this huge window that seems to peer out all the way down to this clearing, the river, and you see all of these eerie soldiers as he pulls the chairs around towards facing the view. As he keeps a number of small little tables in front of each of these chairs. And you see him shuffle over to the kind of the icebox area where there's all this cold seafood, and he has all of these stacked loaves of bread. He slices it, and he slowly is making sandwiches. And as he does that, you just see movement outside. You see otters scurrying around, and they all seem to have crossbows. As they all are scurrying around to certain vantage points, you see some kind of to creep up on roofs. As you look around, as you see the eerie soldiers flying overhead, perched on watch. And as you see that there's a number, he has 5 sandwiches, as Gene O'Donnell steps over and places one down for each of you. And he pulls his large, comfortable chair behind, and his full, large body fits the entire thing, his plump tail kind of wrapping around as he looks and says, well, I guess it's time to enjoy the view. And you all see, as almost in unison, crossbow bolts fly out of every single direction as otter mercenaries are slaughtering eerie soldiers in every single direction. Thank you, Varian Rolls.
Thank you, Varian Rolls. Thank you so much.
You're witnessing the Red Wedding of Woodland Critters.
That's a pretty good way to put it.
The Red Wedding of Woodland Critters. And
Welcome.
a bunch of birds are being massacred by otters with crossbows. With a mob boss who likes clam sandwiches.
Hello.
So enjoy.
Welcome.
I come back to this. And so as you are watching this, you see Gene enjoying his clam strip Reuben. And he says, you know, it's the classic blunder. When you set your prices competitively and your items for sale are so lucrative, and the mercenaries that we have are just the most ruthless warriors around. You want to pay and you pay and you pay and you let the otters in. And then when it gets a little bit closer to the end of the game, that's when we stab you in the back and take over your clearing. And you begin to see as the eerie soldiers are trying to form ranks as they are then clashing sword to sword with otters. However, they're able to, the sheer surprise of this with the eerie soldiers being spread thin, it is no match as the Riverfolk Company rise up and the remaining eerie soldiers fly away and retreat heading north. And that's what won the session.
Oh my god.
That was a bloodbath.
Thank you for the raid. Sorry
we just ended.
Sorry, we love you.
Good timing, bad timing, but thank you. For, wow. All those boys.
They
So we're
retreat
not done.
north
We're not-
to hold on, I have a question. They retreat north to Wartwallow, to Froggy Town.
And this is when we would resolve our leveling.
Oh, so why don't we-
level.
Yeah. So advancement. So
PBTA, if you know it, I'm sure
so you don't level up, you advance, and it is something that you check at the end of each of the sessions. And how you advance is determined by your playbook, or a class, but it is a playbook. And so, who advanced? We just want to go around the horn.
Yeah.
Let's start.
I think I only advanced once.
Okay.
Wanderlust says a clearing you've never been to, or you've only been to a long time ago.
I would say that would count.
1 level for me.
Got it.
I think I advanced once.
Okay.
Because we advance when we pursue and achieve justice for someone deeply wronged by another powerful denizen. When you consider ending the subscription,
I would say absolutely.
For the young rabbit folk. Okay, sweet.
Peggy and Hazel?
No.
Would my feast or any of the payday that we received be considered
I would say the payday, the deal that you made, would count as an advancement.
An advancement as like for my greed, or for an advancement with a faction?
So an advancement of, if you have a payday or treasure, was
so my greed drive.
Yes.
Okay, got
If the greed drive is your advancement, then yes, by making the deal, that would count as an advancement.
All right.
You also have greed, don't you? Mm-hmm. So you would advance as well.
Okay.
Great. So I think we all advanced once. I think I'm just going to take a stab.
I am as well. I basically got all the moves that I wanted, so now I'm going to focus. And I don't think I need any more weapon skills, so I'm going to focus on my abilities, because I haven't basically bumped them at all.
Right. I think I'm going to take... I don't roll luck that often.
So hold on for Advantage and Chill.
So what is Advantage and Chill?
Advantage and Chill, my friends, is anyone who has been so gracious as to support us with a subscription. It's one of the ways that we kind of give back to you guys for being so awesome and great. After every single session we do, we switch over to a sub-only stream, and we talk about our favorite moments in the session. You guys are able to drop any kind of questions you want into the chat, and we will answer them. We talk about, theories of what's going on and just whatever else is really on our minds. It's a lot of fun. Ever since Twitch has introduced the sub-only streams, it's become an interactive thing, which is great.
Amazing.
And if you can't be there live, we still record them and make them available to our subs. So don't worry if you miss out. You're not missing anything initially.
And then come back and hang out with us tomorrow for a wacky Feywild one shot down the rabbit hole.
Back in the Feywild, and it's going to be so fun. I've been craving.
Down the rabbit hole we go.
And then so that's 3 days back-to-back D&D, and then we're back on Sunday for Squad. So if you're not going to join us for Advantage and Chill, we'll see you tomorrow.
Love you, bye.
Yeah.
Okay,
But we're
ready?
switching over.
Good night.
Good night,
See you,
everyone.
Slug.